Good morning, everyone! I hope everyone is having a good morning. Welcome on in. Sorry for the long setup there. I was having some fights with Twitter again, trying to get it to post my pictures. Oh dear. Shifty, welcome on in. Thank you for the test. You know what's even better than test? The fact that closed caption captures my voice while I'm still loading. And so when I checked to see if my stream was live, all I could see was 1111 done 1111. Oh dear, I love that. That's my favorite. My favorite is when closed captioner captions my vocal exercises that I do before I like unmute myself. That's my favorite. Thanks, closed caption. 10 out of 10. Oh dear, it's great. Yeah, normally I don't have it that it immediately like goes over the screen, but I guess because the last streams I was watching I did have it open, maybe that's why. But yeah. Am I live? Oh yeah, and there's all my vocal exercises. Cool, thanks. Oh dear, I hope you're doing well. I apologize for being so lurky yesterday. Yeah, I think I mentioned it. I was just having some chats behind the scenes, so I was kind of having to give my attention elsewhere for an evening, but that's nice. It was good. I got a lot of stuff done. Good stuff. I felt very productive. Oh dear. I did see that you're playing Robot Wars though. And that was pretty sick. Let me change screens really quickly. I'm talking to the void. Hello. Welcome on in. Oh god, yeah, let's get that off the screen now that I've checked that I am in fact live. You don't need to see that. Oh dear. Yeah. Robot Wars. It was one of my favorite shows when I was a kid. That one, Time Team, Robot Wars, Time Team, like as far as I guess things that weren't cartoons. Those were, was there another one? I feel like I did like The Joy of Painting, but I think I was a little bit older then. When I was younger, it was Robot Wars and Time Team. I was like, yeah, I like this. Whenever this is on, I want to watch it. Oh, Takeshi's Castle, that's the other one. That wasn't a cartoon that I really enjoyed. Although, honestly, Takeshi's Castle could have been a cartoon, and I think I would have enjoyed it just as much. But yeah, those three. I used to really like those one. And then as I got a bit older, Joy of Painting. Yeah, they're pretty good. I think Robot Wars I always liked. Oh, and World's Strongest Man. Yeah, I used to really enjoy Did you ever watch that? I used to really enjoy World's Strongest Man. You'd watch like Robot Wars and then you could switch channels, I think, and then watch World's Strongest Man. And it was like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. And then if you were lucky, there was like a back-to-back of Time Team afterwards. Oh dear. I kind of want to go back and because Robot Wars still happens, doesn't it? But it's different. I kind of want to go back and watch the ones from when I was younger again. Oh dear, I see World's Strongest Man in the mirror every day. To be fair, you'll have to show off your gains this weekend, Shifty, because we'll actually see you. Oh dear, I can tell you that I have like the opposite of gains. I have losses. I think for the last time you'll have seen me, my legs have gotten stronger and that's it. The only thing that's stuck about me is my legs and nobody ever sees those, so. Oh dear. Oh no. Fair. I just hate arm workout. I was looking because one thing I was thinking is like, if I don't want to specifically work out my arms, what if there was like a full body workout, like swimming? I could do that. But it's so expensive, and there's like nowhere nearby where there's just like a relatively cheap pool. Like there's only like 50 quid a month kind of pool, and I'm like, that's great and all, but I'm maybe gonna go once a week, if that. So I'm not spending 50 quid a month for maybe once a week, and they don't do the one-off ones, so it's like, great. Like, I guess not yet. I meant oh no about my gains, by the way, not the other thing. Oh no. I'm sorry. About my losses. Gutting, yeah. It's a shame because like I was quite lucky growing up, I think, because there were quite a few pools in the area that were like relatively cheap and you could just swim lengths in, and I used to like that. Not that much. Swimming was always my least favorite out of the sports that I did, but I did do it. And yeah, I pay a lot to use my pool. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a good, cool, like I think pool would be a good one for me. I just need to find somewhere it's like in a reasonable price range, because it's the only thing that I'd be using. And so if that's the case, it's like I don't want to be paying for a whole gym and everything else, and I just want the pool. I just that'd be fine. There's just nowhere near, like, I guess I could go to the sea. Have you looked at your local leisure centre? Wouldn't that, so I've looked up pools in my area. I'm assuming if there was a leisure centre nearby that it would have come up when I searched pools, right? Probably? Maybe? I feel like it would have come up in that. Voodoo, good morning. I was really lucky I grew up in Ivy, so I had free reign of their pool. Yeah, we had a pool nearby that was free for anyone under 16 or something like that. It was great. It was very, very, very good. I think they did have like a thing that you could pay for at the weekends that I do sometimes. So like my parents would drop me off and they'd pick me up later in the day, where they have like the big inflatable in the pool and you could like total wipeout kind of style. That was great. I love that so much. That's also where I found out I had like a very mild allergy to whatever that's made out of, because there were times where like my face like at this point would just go like purple and I'd look like I'd been bitten by a zombie. It was fine, it didn't hurt, but it like changed the colour of my skin. It was interesting. Loved that. Had it on bouncy castles as well. I remember one time I did a bouncy castle sleepover and I woke up the next day and like all this part of my face was purple and all the girls were like, ah! Yeah, that's it's fine, it's not dangerous, it's just a bit of a pain. Makes my skin go purple. Like I've got a really bad bruise, that's what it looks like. It looks like a bruise, but it's only on my face. Oh dear, that got that sensitive skin. Yee, love it. Oh yeah, but depending on where you are in Wales, there seem to be some swimming pool leisure centres in my town at least, and some of the bigger towns. I'm a bit remote, to be honest. I'm not going to tell you where I live, because that's stupid. But I will I will tell you, I live more remote, so not so much in our area, generally. You need a car to get to most places, and we don't have a car yet. We will get one, but we don't have one yet. So that's what I'm thinking though, like maybe hold off like a month or two until we get a car and then maybe look again. But yeah, for now, oh dear. But I am thinking swimming would be a good call. Yeah, to get to a city usually it's a good hour drive away. Yeah, it's like a remote living in it. I like it a lot of the time, to be fair. A lot of the time it's like, all right, it's just when you need that one specific thing and it's like, I have to now travel to it. Geva, good morning. I hope you're doing well. Welcome on in. We are going to be doing not the embroidery today, actually. We're going to be doing more of the first stages, the smocking and beading maybe, but not the embroidery. My poor thumb, it's just not quite right. It's not quite right. It never quite recovered from yesterday, and it's a little bit swollen at the end. So we're going to give it a day to rest. It's fine, and like honestly, they'll be fine. My hands are just a bit rough in general, to be honest, and so I think doing the embroidery on them probably made them a bit worse. I need to get more of those. I used them last year when I was doing Mateus, because I was doing a lot of embroidery and beading then. Like hand masks, because what I was doing was after stream, I put my hand in this like glove full of like really strong moisturizer, and you just sit it in there. And like afterwards your hand feels really, really soft, but then when it, like a few hours later, it feels like any of the dryness or any of the roughness from like the calluses you get on your fingers from like consistently embroidering, they like start to go away. And I was doing that like every other day, I think, with Mateus near the end, just to try and like keep my hands in a relatively good position. I think I might just start doing that again, because it worked then and I'm doing basically the same thing now. I just have to like order some in. I love it. I've grown up in eye bases in big cities. I prefer the remote quietness, being able to sit outside first thing in the morning and just hear nothing but nature. Yeah. I grew up in. I grew up here. I grew up with a little guy who lives in Blue World. This was in fact where I grew up. This alien planet. Inside and outside, blew his house with a blue little window and a blue Corvette. And oh, good morning! I hope you're doing well. And everybody around, cause he ain't got nobody to listen to. Yeah, I'm blue, dabba dee dabble die. I did. Dabba die, dabba dee dabba die, dabba dee dabba die. I grew up on the tiny Avatar planet, like the Avatar planet but smaller. Yeah, that was me. I'm blue, dabba dee dabba die, dabba dee dabba die, dabba dee dabba die. How do you have all these points, Geff? I feel like you can always seem to redeem the big ones. Thank you for the blue. It's very kind of you. First thing in the morning, you need that. Oh dear. Yeah, I also grew up I grew up more remote than I am now. God, why? You know what? Thinking about where I grew up, it makes me want to party. Crazy that. There's just that mental connection. Oh dear. We like to party. We like to party. I think I grew up a lot more remote than I am now, though. I will say that was very remote. Yeah, I think comparatively I'm better now. Everybody's jumping, New York to San Francisco, an interstate free disco. The wheels are still are turning, and traffic lights are burning. So if you like to party, come on and move your body. Yeah. Oh dear. I know how Shifty has the points. That doesn't surprise me. Oh dear. Yeah, I've been trying to think of something to bake for the weekend, because I know Queenie's going to be baking. And it's like I don't want to like leave it all to Queenie. That feels a bit rude. So I was like, I'll bring something as well. But I've got a few options, and what I might do is just make the few options, and then whichever one turns out the best, bring that one. Because I haven't baked for a while. I will say though, I do have some relatively simple recipes, and recipes I've made a few times before. So as long as I don't do anything dramatically different, they should work. But yeah. I feel bad leaving it all to Queenie. All the foods I'm good at aren't really picnic food. Same. Yep, 100%. I'm really good at stews and curries, and that is not picnic food. Like, you want stew? I'm pretty good at that. You want curry? I'm really good. You want something slow cooked? I got you. You want something soft? You want soft food? That I can do. But yeah, not so much baking. I would say generally as well, I'm like the opposite of a baker. I like being able to like just pick up spices and throw them in kind of thing. And baking's all about measuring stuff and getting precise measurements and ratios. It's the opposite of what I like in cooking. I like just bit of that, bit of that, bit of that. Oh dear. Had to make a delivery to a company in a certain Valleys town. My god, I thought Afghanistan was rough. Certainly felt safer when in Afghanistan. I mean, I've lived up. Well, I know there are multiple valleys in Wales, but I've lived in the valleys before. Like, honestly, yeah, you get a few people that are rough around the edges, but generally people are actually pretty friendly. Just much louder than I'm used to, but like still friendly. Like, yeah, just different kind of friendly than what I am maybe accustomed to. Yeah, in your face friendly. Is that? I mean, I like it. It works well with the kind of socializing I like to do. In your face friendly. That's where I put it. The lasagna curry, yeah. We're the same. We're like, yeah, I like the things where you just throw stuff in and it works. I make a good vegetable lasagna. I'm very proud of my vegetable lasagna. Make jerk chicken. Oh, that would be good. Because you can have that cold. Why not? Well, yeah, that would be a good one. We were considering bringing something like that, but the problem with us bringing refrigerated items is we have to travel so far with it, because it's about to get to where we're going, which I'm not going to say where it is, but to get to where we're going, it is a 45-minute walk, and then it is, a couple of trains at the moment, to be honest, because nothing's weren't running, but it will take about an hour and a half-ish to get to you. Via public transport, so we don't want to have like chicken in a bag for an hour and a half when it's quite warm. But that's because we're so far away. Yeah, so we're like, we'll kind of have to stick to something baked, really. Dear. Oh, jerk chicken. Yeah, one thing I miss so much. Tried getting it out since big, and it's just not the same. Doesn't surprise me. Oh, the Cthulhu, good morning. I hope you're doing well. Welcome on in. We're talking about foods you can bring to a picnic. Yeah. Understandable might be. Wait, you're doing the trip tomorrow? Oh, good luck. Good luck. I hope that goes well. If you've never lived in the south of Wales, by the way, public transport is risky. It might just not come. It's not always this bad, to be fair. I will say specifically the last year, it's a lot worse because of the strikes and all of the rail works. They're like upgrading some parts of the system, and then they've also had some like incidences that have made it worse. This year in particular, last year, it's been specifically bad, but yeah, risky. It might just not turn up. The other day, did I tell you this, Shifty? I was waiting at the station. This was actually probably like a month ago now, and a train showed up that shouldn't have existed. And you could tell like people were trying to stay calm because they weren't signaling for a train to come in, and a train came in, and there were other trains meant to be coming into that station that were signaled to come in. And I was sat on another platform like, am I about to watch a collision? Because that's very much what it's feeling like. A ghost train has just appeared at the station, and there's no one on it. We don't know where it's come from. It's just here, and clearly no one was expecting it. Oh, it's risky business. Gotta work at it. Oh, I hope you have a good time. It's just a fresh meat because of the distance. Have you tried HelloFresh? Oh, sorry, I think you've misunderstood, Voodoo. I'm traveling with the food. Yeah, so I'm making the food and traveling with it. It's not like HelloFresh, but it's not like I need food getting to me. It's me getting to somewhere else. Yeah. Food you can bring to a picnic. Money for the local cafe and ice cream van. Oh, that's actually not a bad call. That's not a bad call. The ice cream van money. Oh, what have I done? So one of us pissing in that bucket. I know what that's from. That's from Piss Party, innit? Sorry, Corpse Party, not Piss Party. Definitely there wasn't the overriding theme of piss throughout the entire thing. There is a supermarket down the road. Nice. That's actually very useful. Will we get to meet Bread by any chance? Or no? If no, that's fine. I don't wanna coax Bread out when they're busy. I'm sure their schedule is very busy. If I was Bread, I would be incredibly busy. I'd have a packed schedule. In this case, Jelly is the HelloFresh. It's me. I'm HelloFresh. Hello. Oh dear. There's just good morning, Vanda. I hope you're doing well. Welcome on in. Oh dear. I'm not sure if Bane's place allows animals, but what about all those donkeys he's hoarding? Surely that's allowed, right? He's got a whole field of donkeys back there. I've heard the noises. Oh dear. Whereas Upwell to upgrading the lines by making them electrical, they installed all the overhead cables. Ooh! Oh wait, and someone stole it. Yeah, it sounds about right. Hoarding. Yeah, he's hoarding all the donkeys. Dear. Also, Vanda, yeah, good morning. I hope you're good. We're talking about food, believe it or not, we're talking about foods you can bring to a picnic. Yeah. At the moment, I'm not gonna say what I'm planning because there's a fair chance I'll only be bringing one of them, but I have 3 plans of things that I could make that I've made before that do work. And then whichever one tastes the best, that's what I'm bringing. Scotch eggs. I feel like Scotch eggs is quite difficult to make though. I could be wrong, but I feel like you have to make, well, obviously boiled egg, or like, I guess would it be a boiled egg or would it be well, how would you? I'm assuming it's a boiled egg. And then you'd have to make a sausage paste and bread it? I feel like that'd be difficult, right? Quiche. I love quiche, and I was thinking to make a quiche, but I've had quiche really recently, so I'm gonna be selfish and not make quiche because I've just been eating quiche. And I don't want to eat it again. I've just had quiche, but otherwise quiche is a really good one. Oh dear. I have 1 or 2 ideas. Ooh, 3 options. Is it tea or tea or tea? I nearly was gonna do a tea cake, but then I talked to Shiny about it, and because tea cake is very, so a cold tea cake, like a traditional cold tea cake, it's kind of very similar to a very moist fruit loaf. And since fruit loaf is kind of like divisive, like some people love it, some people hate it, I figured it'd be a bit risky to bring to a picnic because I might be the only one that's eating it. It's a really good fruit loaf, so it's just called cold tea cake. But yeah, no, I don't wanna upset everyone with my fruit loaf. I also don't know if I want to be the person who brings a fruit loaf. That's risky. You have to be very strong-willed to bring a fruit loaf to a picnic. Boil egg wrapped in sausage meat, then covered in breadcrumbs and deep fried. Oh, the deep fried bit will get us in because we don't really have the equipment to do deep frying right now. Oh dear. I'd love if you went to a restaurant and ordered something on the way to come back and said, no, the chef had made that for lunch, order something else, please. Yeah, that's why I don't work in a restaurant, actually. It's just, I'm very picky. I'm like, you know, I've already made that, I don't want to make it again. I like the taste of fruitcakes, but I'm allergic to raisins. Yeah, that's a pretty big deterrent. Can't blame you there for not eating them. Oh dear. I mean, cold tea cake is the only fruitcake that yeah, cold tea cake is really the only fruitcake that I've eaten a lot of. They're just really easy to like make in big batches. You can freeze them as well, and they still end up being very moist. So it's a good option. Like my family would sometimes gift each other things like that when we'd visit. Like, oh, I made an extra loaf of cold tea cake. Here you go. And like we'd give them something in exchange and also like if someone was giving us vegetables, we'd give them something like that. So, you know, there was an exchange of food that would happen. Like, oh, you're giving me some of your kale, let me give you something that I've baked. And, you know, you give and you take. So yeah, I had a lot of cold tea cake growing up, but I do enjoy it. It is good. Oh dear. I came in after the info on why are we going on a picnic. I'm meeting up with some old friends, and including Shifty Bluke and some other people as well who I've been friends with for a long time, and we're having a picnic, but it might be at their house because yes, it's probably gonna rain. So yeah, we're having a bit of a get together. It's been a while, to be fair. It's been Shifty, how long has it been since I've seen you in face? Like definitely since we've moved I've not seen you. About a year. Yeah, I guess it'd be just over a year because that's when we moved. Yeah, about a year. It's been a minute. I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm assuming like your muscles are like this now, right? And like that as well, like, you know, boom boom. It's just been a whole year. Scones with clotted cream or jam, or does it jam? I don't care. As long as both the cream and the jam get in my mouth, could not give a shit. Never cared. I normally do one of each just to piss everyone off. Because it doesn't upset me that much. I as long as both ingredients get into my mouth at the same time, I don't care on the order. If I would literally whip the cream with the jam in it if it upset people more. Sweet, yee. Oh, TwitchCon, yeah, it was TwitchCon, wasn't it? True. And yes, you look like Johnny Brother. Good. Shifty's bringing cans and cans of spinach. Oh my god, can you imagine just, I was gonna order, because I'm not making this, but it's a recipe that I've made a lot. I was nearly gonna bring a Christmas pudding, but then I had the same thought of like, well, a lot of people don't like fruitcake, and Christmas pudding is kind of similar to fruitcake, so I figured I wouldn't bring it. But I nearly made a Christmas pudding. I'll bring my Christmas treats. You bring 10 tins of spinach. Bateman, thank you for the lurk. Thank you for popping by. I hope you have a lovely day at work, I'm assuming. Oh dear. I know I'm a monster, but I wouldn't do that. I'd be okay with it. I like spinach, but I don't know if I've ever had tin spinach. I probably would still like it. But Christmas pudding in June. It's a fruit cake in a dome. You can eat it at any time of year. People who refuse to eat certain foods outside of their year, unless it is specifically for like a religious reason, are just missing out. You're just missing out on food that you like the rest of the year. Oh dear. So you don't have to follow the rules of society. If you like Christmas pudding and you want to eat Christmas pudding at other times of year, you eat Christmas pudding at other times of year. Hell yeah. Food rules were meant to be broken. Exactly. But again, it is kind of a fruitcake kind of consistency. And so that even though like I'm pretty proud of the Christmas pudding we make, I make a pretty good one. The fruitcake, it's just iffy, isn't it? Like some people love it, some people don't. So I figured probably not. I'm gonna stay away from fruitcake. I have so many fruitcake recipes. But I'm gonna stay away from fruitcake. Lincoln Lights, if that has to make cream tea, it better be like just put in mouth. Put in mouth. Consume. Oh wait, is this like a proper one? Oh, okay. This is like everything. Ah, dear. My local supermarket only just recently stopped selling hot cross buns. I really wish they sold hot cross buns all year round. That's one of the ones where I'm like, I would eat that all year round. Because I really like hot cross buns. I love toasting them. I love having them as like a mid-afternoon snack. So like, that is one where I genuinely think they would still sell if they do it. Watch to the end. I'll probably do it off stream if that's okay, because I don't really have a setup to watching videos very easily. So I'll watch it after stream. With okay, marzipan. I also like marzipan. Marzipan's another one though that people either love or they hate it. I also like marzipan. Marzipan's pretty good. I love it. Oh, Jenny, good news. I believe NASA has a food to. Oh my god, I saw that. I did see that, and I saw the picture of someone drinking what looked like condensed piss, and it was like, oh my god. Someone is gonna be like, Jenny, look, we can drink piss now, and it's like, no. NASA, please. Oh dear. Wait, what? Yeah, I mean, I can't remember where I saw the article. Did I see a whales online? I don't think I did. If I just type in NASA and piss. Yeah. Oh my god, wait, this has gone back to a long way. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Maybe I need to put urine. I think piss might be... Yeah, NASA just recycled 98% of astronaut pee and sweat. And sweat. Please don't forget the sweat. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station have achieved a 98% water recovery rate through in the breakthrough achieved by a method that might make the faint of heart slightly squeamish. They hit peak astronaut pee recycling. God, that's a hard sentence. No, space.com. I don't need more. The water recycling achievement is an important milestone for low-orbit space missions that aim to provide the basic need of astronauts without resupply missions. This means recycling or regenerating things like food, air, and water. In terms of the International Space Station, each crew member needs around a gallon of water each day for drinking, food preparation, and hygiene like brushing your teeth. The ideal goal in terms of water has been 98% recovery on the initial water the crew takes into space with them at the start of longer missions. And then it's quoted, "This is a very important step forward in the evolution of life support systems," part of the team at Johnson Space Center that manages life support systems on the ISS. Christopher Brown said in a statement. Let's say you launch with 100 pounds of water, you lose 2 pounds that, and the other 98 just keeps going around and around. Keeping that running is pretty awesome achievement. I mean, it is actually pretty impressive that they've managed to do that. I mean, it does make me feel a little cringy, but like, I bet it doesn't taste like piss, so I think it's probably okay. The 5%'s gonna hit the spot. They turn 95% of it into drinkable water, or they turn all of it into water that's 95% drinkable. 5% undrinkable. I thought the filtration soda on the IS took the moisture from the air, i.e. sweat. Well, it does say sweat's a part of it, but it looks like piss is also a part of it. And it makes sense, to be fair, if they're doing like 98%, yeah. It makes it easier to send piss sweat in the post because people can just reconstitute their own water. That'll be the next thing. Gamer girl piss sweat. Could you imagine rehydrated gamer girl piss sweat? Brush teeth with piss water. My toothpaste tastes like asparagus. It's a matter of... Oh yeah, it's a huge technological feat. Would you drink it? Oh dear. If this raises a question, are our astronauts drinking urine in space? The answer is clear, absolutely not. The team points out, in fact, that water produced around the ISS, or the International Space System, is superior to what municipal water systems produce here on Earth. The processing is fundamentally similar to some terrestrial water distribution systems, just done in microgravity. Okay, the crew is not drinking urine. They're drinking water that has been reclaimed, filtered, and cleaned such that it is cleaner than what we drink on Earth. So they're not drinking piss, they're drinking better than we are. Basically, we're drinking piss, is what I'm getting from this. They're drinking water, we're actually drinking piss. I am feeling slightly gaslit by this. Oh dear, it probably says more about our water than theirs, probably. It's going to allow me to send people to give it just a butt sweat. Oh, butt sweat. Oh dear. We have a lot of processes in place and a lot of ground testing provide confidence we are producing clean, portable water. Yes, okay. So they've hit 95, but they're trying to hit 98%. So they're trying to get 3% more. But it looks like they're doing it. It looks like they're doing a good job. Well done, space people. 10 out of 10. Good job. There we go. That's very cool. The art is formerly known as piss. They're drinking water. We're drinking piss. Yeah, what we're drinking is worse. Excuse me. What's next? Making alloys from other ways from it? Sure. I mean, the thing that got me is that they were trying to do the same thing with food. How do you recycle food, like, into more food at like a 98% rate? How do you do that? Because I can only assume that they're recycling human feces into food, and like that's the only way I can think about it. Like, how do you get 98% recycling on food otherwise? A 9.5 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, it's true. Ah dear. What's next? Making? Oh, sorry, I read that one. Do you read the pre? I don't know. Do I? Maybe. The only way I can think about is manure for growing. Oh, that might actually be bigger brain. Yeah, that's true. Maybe turning it into something like manure for growing more plants. Can you? Sorry, this is going to be a really odd and obscure question. Can you harvest seeds from human feces? So you know, like how birds, for instance, will eat like an apple core, and then they'll poop out the apple seeds, and that plants a tree. Do humans do that? Can humans do that with their poo or no? Because I'm just wondering if they ate like a lot of seeds, could you fertilize them inside of your body like a bird? Or no? Or no, we don't do that. I'm just curious. I've never tried, see? Oh dear, poo corn. Let's welcome on in. You have joined in a weird conversation, but I'm curious. Like, is that something we could physically do? Sorry, let me just hide that knee. Very, very rude. There we go, get rid of that knee there. Do we eat a lot of whole raw seeds? I mean, we kind of do, I think. We can do. You can go down, like, the shop and buy seeds. Maybe. Or those seeds in the plants already? Maybe. But with near zero gravity, how does manure store stuff? Oh, you know, I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that. How does it stay down? Oh my god. So many questions. This is why I don't work on the space. This is the only reason. This is the reason I don't work on the space station. Too many questions. If you eat nothing but seeds, you would fart out raw seeds, but you wouldn't. Would they be not fertilized, but like, would they be plantable, or would they be dangerous? Like, not they. Would they be plantable, or would they be dying? Because I feel like the human body would kill any seeds that would go through the body for the most part. Maybe the odd one would get through. But I feel like our digestive system is not really good at that in particular. I mean, to be fair, we're omnivores as well, which I think more, I'm imagining herbivores. I imagine something that would be too nurturing for the seed. Wouldn't be too nurturing. Yeah, that's my thought. Our digestive system is pretty intense. We also, technically, don't we have the appendix for digesting, like, nuts and seeds? I don't think we use it anymore, but wasn't that what it was for? So I would think it would be difficult for us to do that. There's just poop everywhere. It's just everywhere, all over the space station. They just on the IS have those picking around. So I guess this is quite strong. So seeds must either be dissolved or die due to the strength of the acid. Yeah, maybe. Nothing but corn. Corn, I feel like it doesn't hold all of the nutrition you need. I could be wrong. Maybe you can get everything you need from corn. I feel like more of a mixed diet would be better for you though. Also, like, this doesn't answer the question of, like, don't we send up, like, ice cream and space pizza and stuff like that? And we can't plant a pizza tree or an ice cream tree. So how does that get recycled? How do you recycle space pizza? I don't know. Like, you don't plant, like, cheese and then it becomes a cow. So, I don't know. It feels like you'd have to have a very specific diet, and from what I can tell, they have quite a varied diet in space. Oh, I think the corn and poop is just the husk. Yeah, I think it's just the husk as well. Can you feed pigs human corn poop? No, I don't think so. We can't plant a pizza tree, not with that attitude. True. I'm not approaching it with enough positivity. If you believe you can plant a pizza tree, you can plant a pizza tree. Oh dear, that would be very powerful though. Oh dear. Plus, nobody likes the idea of my pizza. Why does nobody like my pizzas? I have great pizza taste. My pizza does have corn on it. Could you plant poop corn and grow Doritos? But can you eat Doritos in space? I feel like you can't eat. Well, maybe Doritos you could, but like something like a tomato, right? Even if You recycled what you made and planted a tomato tree, say. Tomato tree, tomato plant, whatever you want to call it. You can't eat tomatoes in space. Well, not cleanly, because as soon as you bite into it, it's just gonna go... Like, you'd have to eat it in one go and make sure none of it came out. And if that's like a beef tomato, like... I mean, I'm sure some people can fit a beef tomato in their mouth, but like... I feel like that shouldn't be a test to get onto the astronaut program. Like, how big is your mouth? I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Dear. Oh, pasta. I do like pasta. Yeah, they could only eat liquid food in space. Yeah. Jelly, my friends and I went to an Indian-Italian food event and they had curry pizzas. Were they good? Did you enjoy them? I hope you enjoyed them. I've always loved curry pizza. It's great. Dear. We have to stop gobbling muzzles to stop splashback. Yeah. If you insist on eating a tomato whole, just slice the big... But if in space, you can't slice a tomato in space because it'll just go... I mean, no. You can slice a tomato in space. I just don't think it's a good idea because the insides would be... and then you'd have tomato everywhere. Pasta and pesto grated cheese on top, food of champions. I mean, that is good, but can you grate cheese in space? In space, I don't think you can do that. Well, no, technically, again, you probably can. I just think it's a bad idea. Oh dear. To be an astronaut, you have to be able to unhinge your jaw like a snake. Yes, it was very important. The butter chicken pizza was pretty tasty. It's just a good vehicle of moving food to mouth. It's great. I'm already told NASA I'm not going up so we can eat Cheetos in space. I've never eaten Cheetos. I've always wanted to because everyone talks about how nice they are, but I've never had them. They're like one of those snacks I've just never had from America. Oh dear. Nate, good morning. I hope you're doing well. Welcome on in. We're talking about eating in space because of a news story about space. Oh dear. Tomatoes don't spray with a decently sharp knife. Oh, okay. Have you had Wotsits? Aren't Cheetos like Wotsits? Oh, I have had Wotsits. Oh, okay. It's just like a Wotsit? Oh. Oh, okay. The thing is, Wotsits are so messy. Like, I like the taste of Wotsits, and I like the texture of Wotsits, but I don't like eating them. They're like one of the snacks I can't have in my craft room because I will make such a mess. Like, I get dust on my costumes and stuff, so they're not a practical snack. Oh dear, they're very tasty, but not practical. I would suggest if you're going to space, lay off the foods which cause high gas problems. Nothing worse than being confined in space. Bad. Oh yeah, let me just recycle your farts. Oh dear. Just come back from a holiday. I am now a fiance. Oh, how congratulations, Nate. Well done. Hell yeah. Can we get a whoop whoop in chat for Nate, who is now engaged? Happy engaged. Happy days. Hell yeah. She said yes. Was it really romantic? I hope that it was really, really nice. Perfect for whoever it was that you proposed to. I hope it was really good. Oh dear. I think we're disappointed. Yeah, I would have loved to have eaten Cheetos, but now, ugh. Think of the scene in Toy Story when I eat Wotsits. Yeah, it was romantic. You did a good job. Hell yeah. Congratulations, Nate. Oh dear. Are you planning on staying engaged for a while, or do you already have plans for a wedding? Out of curiosity, you gonna hold off for a bit and plan, or are you just gonna go straight in for it? Oh dear. Ah dear. These are pretty much the same as Knick Knack. Oh, I do like Knick Knack flavors though. The flavors of Knick Knacks are, they're good. Again, I don't eat them in the craft room, but they are good. Oh dear. Perhaps gonna be a couple years. Weddings are expensive. Honestly, I'm there with you. Weddings are expensive. Like, you find a location where you're like, yeah, I'd like to get married here. And then you look at the cost of feeding everyone and it's like, oh my god, why does it cost so much for everybody to eat food? What the heck? Oh, crazy. Yeah, it's very expensive. Oh, but congratulations. Hell yeah. It'd be nice to at the very least know that there's a wedding on the horizon. Yes, I want to try curry pizza now. Is it just curry sauce instead of tomato sauce? No, it's like the toppings are all curry. So, well, at least maybe Zero can let you know what theirs it was, but what my experience of it is it's very much like a tomato and cheese kind of base. So think a margarita style base, but the topping is curry. So you'll end up with quite a thick pizza, a little bit more deep, and that you'll have like, the best way to describe it is imagine your favorite curry with cheese on it. It's good. It's good. It's just a really cheesy curry with the bread as a way of getting it to your mouth. Fantastic. It's not good for you, but it's delicious. It's good for your soul. I went from recycling fast to marriage proposal. How romantic! Matthew, good morning. Yeah, for me, the two are very linked. Hell yeah. Good news, if you start saving your piss now, we can provide 95% more water for your wedding. No. Oh dear. It was one where we had slice of chicken tikka on the pizza with butter chicken sauce and a swallow yogurt. There you go. Yeah. Delicious. Almost sounds like curry and a giant naan with cheese involved. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah, it's really good. Best food I had was at Christmas market in Cardiff, currywurst with chips. Oh, I do like currywurst. I've only had like a small amount of it because we wanted to try every single sausage. So we ordered like 5 of them and then we all had like a couple bites of each. And, oh my God, 10 out of 10, do not regret. I mean, this was pre-COVID times, I guess, so like everyone was just sharing everything, but oh my God, it was so good. Scott, good morning. Curry and cheese won't get down New Zealand, but it sounds amazing. Honestly, we make it at home, but then I will say also my family do make some pretty good curries, so that helps. But like literally, it was my sister, one of my sisters that started it. Cause I come home from I think I was at college at the time. Come home from college one day, and she was like, "Look what I've made!" And she'd made a sagaloo and put it on top of like a pre-made margarita pizza, and it was just heaven. The only thing that I would change if I was making it myself is I'd put the cheese layer over the top of the curry. So if I was making the pizza from scratch, have the base, have the tomato, put the curry on top, and then put the cheese on top, because I think the cheese would encase it a bit better. But if you're making it from home, just buy a margarita pizza and whack a curry on top. It's the easiest way to achieve same thing. Currywurst is a great when you find a place that isn't giving you ketchup and curry powder. Yeah. Yes, true. Love a good Indian and Thai. Yeah. I haven't had as much Thai food, to be honest. The Thai food I have had has been good, but I just haven't had the opportunity to go to as many like Thai restaurants, and it wasn't a cuisine that I grew up eating a lot of. So although I've enjoyed the bits that I've had, it does feel like a hole in my foodie knowledge is Thai food, because I just don't eat as much of it. Yeah. And I need to eat more Thai food. I don't know what to tell you. I've enjoyed what I've eaten, but I just, comparatively to other cuisines, I've had it a lot less. Yeah. Sad times. I let my pizza make, my pizza make sisters. What? I let my pizza make a sister. I let my sister make a pizza once she put pineapple on it. I put pineapple on. If I'm just having a regular pizza, pineapple, olives, sweet corn, red onions. That's my pizza. That's my go-to. Me and Mama Jelly like the same pizza as well, so it's not just me. We both like this pizza. Oh dear, Thai food is great. Yeah, what I really enjoyed. I've had like red curry, green curry, and like a few smaller snacks, but like that's it. That's all I've had. Red, green curry, and snacks. And it's like, comparatively to other cuisines, I want to properly try it. And I want to try what isn't just red curry and green curry. Don't get me wrong, I like them, but I feel like there's a lot more there that I could try that's a bit more authentic and fun. I want to give that a go. Dino! Had a nice red curry at the market a while back. Nice! Hell yeah! Had Thai green curry and was violently sick after this fermentation termite something. Is it like the lemon? Is it lemongrass is what I'm thinking of? I know somebody else that really didn't like the Thai curry. I think it was because of lemongrass. Lemongrass hasn't bothered me so far, but I know it bothers some people. Lemongrass. I think it is lemongrass. And a massaman curry. Now, I don't think I've had that. Whatever that is. That sounds new, and I'm up for it. I'm up for trying it. Pad Thai is one of the most amazing things I've ever put in my mouth. I have had Pad Thai, but I don't think I've had very good Pad Thai. So I think I'd need to, like, go somewhere that does a bit more. Pho. I've had pho. That's Vietnamese, though. Right? Am I correct? Is pho Vietnamese? I've had pho, and I like that. That's good. Yeah. Again, I would like to try. I've had the sandwiches. I want to try the coffee. Is it Vietnamese coffee that has egg in it? I think it is. I want to try that at some point. I know that they do it in a place in Cardiff. I just haven't been because the queue is always like down the street, and so I always look at it and I'm like, I'd like to give it a go. Clearly people like it, but I also don't want to queue for like an hour, so You know, nothing against the shop. I'm just lazy. It's a long queue, but one day when it's quiet, I will get that. Annoying kind of does the egg coffee. Yeah, that's the one that always has like at lunchtime, which is whenever I've gone. It's like the long queue. Oh dear. First Vietnamese. Yeah. We add sausages, onions, bacon, pineapple, chicken, and peaches, and lots of cheese. Yes. My people. That sounds great. And Scott, thank you so much for the follow. It's very kind of you. Oh dear. Not sure about egg and coffee. See, I want to give it a try. Is there a pho place? Yeah, there is a pho place. It's literally called pho. If you type in pho and then put Cardiff, I believe it is literally just called that. And they do it there, funnily enough. Yeah, they also do delivery, but you have to live in Cardiff. I know because when I lived in Cardiff, I'd get delivery a lot. I hope they're still open. They were really good. Oh, I'd like to try it, but I don't like eggs. I wonder how eggy it is, though, or if it's more like a texture thing where it makes it more creamy. Because sometimes eggs make things creamy, right? And then sometimes they make them taste like egg. So I don't know. Masala curry is a mild coconut base with spices, slow cooked meat, potato, usually onions and peanut. That does sound good. Oh, I like the sound of it. I'll keep an eye out for that then on menus when I go out next. Oh dear. I like pho places and they're fucking. It is a good name. It's a very strong name. Fucking. Oh dear. But yeah. The only thing is, if you're not a fan of lemongrass voodoo, I think you can have it removed, but I know a lot of the pho in pho use lemongrass. Just as a heads up, you might need to manually, if you're ordering, ask them to remove it. if it's like an additional thing, if that's something that really turns your stomach. Because yeah, from my memory, most of the stuff that I ordered there had lemongrass in it. Yeah, so yes, if it's that, you might need to get it out. But I'm pretty sure it was part of the greens on the side, so I feel like you could have it removed. Oh dear. My next is Sofa King. Fucking God, I'm sure I must have heard these before, but these are feeling fresh. Sofa King? Fucking. Oh, Daddy, good morning. I hope you're doing all right. We're talking about food. Surprise, surprise. I should probably start at least doing some background work. I'm up for keeping talking about food, but you know, just so I get a little bit done today. Oh, there goes my light. There you are. Oh dear, it's not the lemongrass the problem, it was the creaminess, so like coconut milk. Okay, I mean, it's still probably worth checking, but yeah. They're pretty good. I've only eaten in pho once. Like every other time I just ordered. But yeah, when we did go in, they were pretty chill. All right, you want to see my light, my fire? Oh, actually, do you want to see my fire? There you go, in this screen. It's a small light blob for me to burn my fabric with so that it stops fraying everywhere. We don't want it to fray. We want it to be nice and neat at the edges. Oh, also, by the way, sorry, I just remembered. I know I said I wasn't going to finish the bit that we started yesterday, but I did finish the bit. Well, I finished the embroidery. Look at it. It's got embroidery on both sides now. My thumb hurts. It was a mistake, but I had like, 10 minutes, 15 minutes here, there. It still needs to be stitched and beaded, but the embroidery bit is done. So, yeah, that's cool. It took... I want to say it was a 4-hour stream yesterday, but we did have like a half an hour break, but I did start it the day before, so I'm going to say still 4 hours, and then I think it took about an hour to finish it. So I think the embroidery on its own took about 5 hours. Although we did also do the center bit as well, so that is all of the embroidery took about 5 hours. And that's not beaded or neatened, and the back hasn't been done yet. So, yeah, time. Add that to the clock of how long things are taking here. Lemongrass adds a very unique flavour. It does. It wasn't in like a lot of the food that I ate growing up. So I guess a little background on me. Both of my parents, my dad especially, is a very good cook. I've been very, very blessed to be able to eat a lot of very interesting cuisine growing up, because not only was he a really good cook, he was also a foodie. So he would take us out to eat lots of really interesting food, and like that's what we do. If you're wondering where the foodiness comes from me, I am like literally the least foodie person in my family. But it's my family and everyone's very food orientated. Like food is a big part of the day, like the most important part of the day, you could even argue. is what we're eating for dinner and whether we're eating together, and it's very communal and all that kind of stuff. So food was a big thing. And yeah, I was very lucky that he was a very, very good chef. And so because of that, I ate lots of really interesting things when I was a kid, which was really, really nice. But one thing that I do believe that Vietnamese, Thai, stuff like that, and lemongrass was a flavor that I only really experienced as an adult. They were like some of the few cuisines that we didn't really do. And I really like it. I didn't think that I would like it as much because it's a very strong smell as well. And like sometimes the smell of it was almost overpowering in a lot of the food that I was eating when I first started trying that kind of stuff. But I actually really, really liked it. Really, really thought it was good. But I can also see how it's not for everyone because it is strong. Found the third place. You got to drive to Cardiff now. You got to go. On the plus side, it's a weekday, so hopefully it won't be as busy. Also, if you do go, you'll have to tell us if you enjoyed it. Now that several people in chat have recommended it to you, you have to come back to us and be like, did you like it though? Was it good? It's a little pain, but nowhere near as bad. Oh, hell yeah. Person told me to take it easy, but has also given me exercise and stretches. That sounds like good advice. Oh, I'm glad there's something going on then. And you've not just been left with nothing. Oh, dear. Honestly, it's like times like that, if I'm not very well, that's kind of when I fancy things. I think as well, I could be wrong. Is there quite a lot of ginger in Asian cuisine? Because I feel like there is. Obviously, that's very broad, and like that also includes Indian and stuff like that. But like, if we're talking more specifically, I guess Thai, maybe Thai Vietnamese kind of style, I feel like there's a lot of ginger in it. And whenever I'm having a bad day, I always find the ginger taste really comforting. I like that. I'm a fan. Ginger is in fact one of my favourite things though. I've also been... Oh, so it shouldn't catch fire unless I literally put it in the fire, by the way. So that's my bad. I'll attempt to not keep putting it in the fire. There we go. But yeah, what was I saying? I like ginger and things. I find it comforting. Ah, dear. Oh yeah, there's a new place in Cardiff that's Thai, I think. Ginger is a key ingredient in a lot of Asian dishes, yeah. Again, we had a lot of curry growing up, but that was... We had a lot of curry growing up. We had a lot of curry. Spicy food. Spicy curry. Like, this is what my family likes. And honestly, I like it too. So it's good. We all like curry. We're a curry family. But, yeah, not so much. We'd get, like, Chinese takeaway as well, but that was kind of like the... That's about as much Chinese as we did, and I don't know if that's always the most authentic, but it was good, I like it. I mean, something doesn't have to be authentic to be good. There we go, get rid of that. Ah, dear. What was it, 35? I became a foodie, because before that I looked at food, at fuel for the body, didn't care what it looked or tasted like. Yeah, I met a few people like that in my time. I mean, and then also there's a lot of people who how to put it? Won't like things before they even try it. Yeah. I've met a lot of that. And I think it makes sense. If you don't try a lot of things when you're younger, it can be a bit more intimidating to try stuff for the first time. But yeah, no, I'll be honest, most of my friends are pretty foodie. Maybe it makes sense that you make friends with people that have similar principles to you. Even if we like different foods, we're still foodie. Oh dear. I have long loved ginger. That's how I met a lovely last name Ginger. I like her almost as much as the root of the... Oh dear. Yeah, I love ginger. Ginger is one of my go-to spices. I love it in everything. I can't have too much ginger. I really like it. Dear. Next time you go to Cardiff, you need to try Matsudai. It's a Japanese ramen place and it's really good. I think I know which one that is. That's the one that's not in the center, right? I think I know who this is. I think this is the one that's like near a firestorm. Range time, yeah, I know what this is. I'm a foodie, man. I know all the places. Yeah, because this is run by, oh, what's his face? He does YouTube stuff sometimes. Yeah, I'm aware of this guy. Yeah. And also because you can order the ramen kits to your house as well, which is better for someone like me who is housebound a lot of the time. So yeah, I'm aware of them. I'm aware. You need to try that someday. Shifty, if you're busy, you can literally order it to your house, and like it's a kit that you just it's like 10 minutes, and it makes the ramen that they make in store because they prepare it all for you and send it to you almost like HelloFresh, but with just the one packet of ramen. It costs about the same amount as it does in the store as well, so it's not like you're spending a lot more. But if, like, for instance, someone like me who doesn't live that close and it would be a lot to travel, it's actually cheaper for me to order it like that to my house than it is to travel all the way to Cardiff, you know? And yeah, and it's the same, basically. It's the same thing that you get. And if anything, it means you can eat it in the comfort of your own home. So if you've had like a rough day, you can order it in for, you have to order it in for like a couple days in advance. But say you're like, oh, I got a huge project on Friday and I'm gonna be really, really busy. You order it in for Friday and they'll deliver it and you can make it for yourself that evening without having to leave the house. It's great. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Oh dear. It's a good system, I like it. I wish more restaurants did stuff like that, to be honest. Bit on the expensive side compared to Wagamama's. It is, but it's not actually that. No, Wagamama's is expensive. It's a few quid more per item, but I feel like for what you're getting, it's worth it. Because, you know, Wagamama's is a big chain. Oh dear. I really want food now, I'm sorry. I don't know what you expect coming into this channel. Danny, you've been here long enough. You know how it goes. Once we start talking about food, that's it. We're gone for the day. It's food chats only now. Oh dear. Thank you for putting up with us, Danny. Us and our food talk. I need 18 here. So let's just one. Actually, we'll do it. We'll draw the line here. We'll draw the line. Sure. This is the shiny side, isn't it? Once again, do not worry if you haven't seen this before. Yes, I'm doing it in Biro, but no, you will not see it on the other side once it is done. It'll be nice and secret. It just makes it easier for me to see because you work with the fabric for so long. Yeah. I don't mind paying good money for good food. Hell yeah. Me neither. Same. If I will say that if you're planning on going to the restaurant, book in advance because he's always packed out. Yeah, that's true. Then again, I'm someone, maybe I didn't think of that. I always book in advance because I always have the fear that I'm going to want to eat somewhere and I get turned away. I'm very much a book in advance kind of lady. If there's food that I want and I can't get it, I'm a sad lady then. Oh dear. How long? So that's 30. How long was it? If I look at the other one real quick. Was it this one? No, surely not. That's too long. It's this one. Because I didn't do the last one, did I? Wait. No, I didn't. So that would be 2 seconds. Sorry, I'm just gonna calculate some stuff. You guys chat amongst yourself. I'll just be here mathing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Maybe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes. So I need at least 3 more. And then 1, 2. So there, right? Because then I have 1, 2. Yeah. I got it. I can math just a little bit. I do need some card or something to doodle on so I can get. Oh, I'll just use the pen. Sure. Led, good morning. Thank you for the hydrate as well. Actually, I will hydrate. I do actually have a cup of tea today because it's a little bit colder. Yeah. Delicious. Oh dear. You tried to go on a off chance of a 2-hour wait to get a table. Yeah, that's fair. I am a planning precision lady. I like planning. I like knowing where I'm going. I like knowing where I'm going in ahead of time. I like having backup plans. I just really like plans. I'm big into plans, you know. Plans is my new latest thing. Love plans. Love knowing what's going on at all times. Oh dear. Alright, go all the way up there to 18, and then I'll do the same thing on this side, but I'll also draw my line here. And then I think that's about straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Good. Done. Oh dear. Teas are great for hydrate. Hell yeah! Hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. My PC decided to start dying. No! We had the same thing happen yesterday. Not to my PC, thankfully, but unfortunately Shiny's PC. We think we know what the issue is, and we think it's actually a relatively easy to fix issue, thankfully. But it's always very scary when expensive technology decides it's done. You know? Can't say that it's my favorite. Get that there really quickly, and then it's about right. It's about right. Okay. So then what we need to do is, I'm going to turn this around quickly just so I get these good. Oh dear. You were like 6Ps then, probably. Oh dear. I can't math. I said yesterday I was doing quilt maths, and I got compiled quilt maths and bought the fabric, and I didn't complete the quilt maths. I got something wrong. I need to buy my Oh no! I'm sorry to hear that, Cthulhu. That's very frustrating, because you were putting so much work into that yesterday as well. Have you told your fabric off for daring to not comply with your maths? Because I would tell that fabric off. I'd be like, that's very naughty of you. Did you not see how much time and effort I put into you yesterday? Just for you to now tell me that I have to spend more money? Excuse-me? Yeah, I would properly tell that fabric off. How dare it not math correctly? Excuse-me? Oh dear, that's very frustrating. I mean, I've been there. I think I'm sure many of us craftspeople have been there where something's just not quite added up and we've had to buy more. I mean, with Mateus, I ended up having to buy fabric more twice because I didn't calculate it right the first time. But yeah. You know, Mateus was originally going to be like 100 quid. And like, yeah, that didn't happen. Because I had to buy more stuff several times. Also, by the way, if anyone's new here and hasn't seen Smocking before, just a real quick what I'm doing. I'm drawing a grid to base my Smocking on. The grid is basically going to be used when I'm going in and adding all of my knots and gathers and stuff like that. It helps me make sure that I'm keeping my knots and gathers really even, and so that we get like a nice pattern on the other side that's like not wonky. So the grid is used for that. That's why we're making a grid. Yes. And this is the top side of the fabric. This is the bottom side, which is why we're drawing the grid on this side. Yes. Eden, good morning. I hope you're doing well. Welcome. I carefully explained the design to stop hiding parts of itself when I'm doing the maths. Good on you. Maths is hard. Yeah. Oh dear, I'm glad yours is nearly fixed. Mine has bits at around 9 years old. Well, so does Shiny. Shiny's PC was built their first year of university, I believe. About 10 years ago, I would be, so like about the same. And somebody else built it, but we've gone through and tested the components, and we think we know what it is. I might just honestly start putting some, okay, wait, quietly saying this, because this is a secret. I might just start putting some commission money aside because it'd be a really nice Christmas present. So that's what my plan is. Shh. Don't tell him. I have to say that quietly. But yeah, I might just start putting some money aside when I do commissions to try and help fund it a little bit, because I don't think he'd buy it himself, because he's very house comes first, car comes first, everything else comes first, I come last. So it'd be nice if I could save up some money and at least help him buy part of it, you know? Like maybe I can afford the graphics card or something. That's my plan, but it's a quiet. Somebody clip it, nobody clip it, it's a secret, don't let him know. But yeah, I might, now that I realise, because before I knew it was an old PC, but I didn't realise how old, but now I know, so yeah. Shh, we won't say anything, thank you. You the bed, yeah. That's what I want to do. Fortunately, I have a while till Christmas, so I have time to sort myself out a little bit, but that's what I would like to do. I just hope it holds out till Christmas. Fingers crossed, eh? We had to dismantle it fully yesterday, so I guess we'll see. We'll see. Oh dear. I've just given away a graphics card to someone, still Silver Bus. Oh, nice! Hell yeah, I bet they appreciate that. There was such a long time there where like all of that kind of equipment was just, you could only get it from scalpers. And it was so expensive. Like when I got my PC, I bought my PC because the only way that I could get my PC was as a pre-build, because at the time there were so few graphics cards going around, but my laptop had died. So it's like the only way that I could stream and do work and stuff was to basically buy something quickly. And I didn't want to get stuck in the same position again where I was using a laptop for things where I really needed a PC for. So I ended up saving up and getting a PC. And I mean, a lot of it was thanks to people in chat at the time, to be honest, because a lot of people did really help. And then, yeah, we saved up, got a PC. But because there were no graphics cards at the time, I had to buy it as a pre-build. You can now get my PC even as a pre-build for like 600 quid cheaper. Because there's like a good supply of cards and everything, and the market's gone a little bit more back to normal. Yeah. Oh dear. B, good morning! I hope you're doing well. Welcome on in. Oh dear. Thank you for letting us watch your games yesterday. I hope you had a good rest of your stream before we popped by. We're doing grid making. We're making grids. But mainly will be for Smocking, which is the same thing we've been doing since basically the beginning of the year, actually. We're getting there. Hell yeah. Oh dear. Good morning. Oh no, it's lovely to see you, honestly. Oh dear. I was gonna say, B, have you seen the thing that the Australia and New Zealand nominations thing? Also, people in chat, have you seen the Australia and New Zealand nominations thing on Twitter? I can get the link, because B is Australian. I'm just putting it out there. Where did it come from? Was it Twitch ANZ? Or was it just Twitch? I don't know if anyone remembers. Yeah, there it is. That's the one. I'll link you. Just saying. B is Australian. B could be nominated for this if you wanted to. You don't have to. I think you can nominate yourself as well, B, right? Just saying. You should nominate yourself. You should nominate yourself. Oh dear. Oh. Yeah, I saw that yesterday and I was like, I know an Australian streamer. I know one. I actually know a few now, thanks to B in the Apex community. Oh dear. Get that out of there. And there's that one, and the last one's a bit weird, but that doesn't matter because it's actually not part of the grid, so it's fine. It's fine. I think I'll use my old account to nominate myself. No, I think if you click it right, it says I'm nominating myself or I'm nominating someone else. Yeah. Are you nominating yourself or another streamer? So you can just put myself, and you can just nominate yourself. Yeah. Not that I've been through this form, but you can do it. So you shouldn't need to use an alt account because I think it encourages you to nominate yourself and put yourself forward. Because that way, if you've nominated yourself and other people has also nominated you, they know that you're down for it, you know. Whereas if only other people has nominated you, they might not realize that you're down. Oh, I did the same thing as last time. That's okay. I went one too far. It's not actually a problem because it means I've got more than I need rather than less than I need. And I'd much rather be in a position where I have one more than I need than one less than I need. That's fine. There we go. We're gonna move mate. Yeah. There's self-love all the way. Yeah. I think it's important sometimes to put yourself forward for those sort of things. You know, my tarot reading says I need to put myself forward for more things. My tarot reading also told me I was financially dependent, and it's like, you're right. I don't know. You know what? I needed to hear that. I need to put myself forward for more things. Thank you, Tarot VTuber lady. I appreciate it. Honestly, sometimes you need to hear that. It did make me laugh a lot, though. I should have clipped it. so that I could show Shiny though, because literally they were like, all right, so here's your cards, flip, flip, flip. You look like you're financially dependent. And I was like, I wasn't ready for that. But I mean, they're not wrong though. I mean, they hit the nail on the head. I wouldn't say that I am like the biggest believer in the more spiritual side of things, but it was quite funny and they were spot on. Oh dear. You put yourself forward for more things unless they cost money, in which case maybe don't. Well, they told me, hey, you need to put yourself forward for more things so that you can start earning money. I was like, okay. And then they were like, you know, maybe if there's a corporation hiring people with your skill set, that might be a good option. And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna keep an eye out for them. I don't know what my skill set is, but like, I guess seamstressing and VTubers? Well, I'm looking for it, I'm keeping an eye out. And if I see it, I'll listen to Tarot Lady and I'll do it. The thing is, I'd feel a bit different. Say if I'd rated you, B, and then you'd given a tarot reading, we already know each other. I'd feel a bit differently about it. I'd never rated this person before, and they'd never met me before. So the first thing they gleaned about me from the very little that I typed in chat and from the tarot cards was that I was financially dependent. Like, we'd never spoken before. They had no idea who, we didn't know who they were. Oh, they pronounce tarot like arrow. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry, you're right. It is, that is how it's meant to be said. I always say tarot and it's my fault, I say it wrong. Maybe this is why I have bad luck. I'm crazy, hearing someone else voice me. It does, it makes a big difference. What does financially dependent look like? Me, apparently, or very specifically my name in chat. Let me put a little note in chat. Yeah, like that name right there. Doesn't that look financially dependent to you? The look of financial dependency. It's a crafty jellyfish in blue with the little things next to it. That's me. Looks like Cardiff trip is not gonna happen. Wife just informed me that her mum. Aww. Well, I hope you have nice family time then. Being able to go to the pub with the friends and get around in. True. That would be, yeah. It'd be nice to be able to buy around sometimes. I mean, again, she wasn't wrong. She wasn't wrong. She was 100% spot on for, like, at least reading my current situation, which is fine. I was good with it. And she did say that if I did put myself out there more, then I could have some more good luck. And it's like, okay, I'll start saying yes to more things. Oh, dude. Yeah, sometimes you need to hear it from somebody else. And you know what? It was nice. And she was also very nice about it. She wasn't mean. She was a good bean. Yes, appreciated it. Oh dear. Yeah, we both used to say emote. Just like, hello, me, financially dependent. Wait for someone to give him money. It's like, yeah, it's just money. That's financially independent. Dependency is hanging on. Yeah, which is what I am. It's what I am. I mean, I'm also in a position where it'd be difficult for changing it too quickly unless I did find a corporation that wanted me. Like, I'm very much still in a recovery process, so like it'd be a bit difficult for me, well, as in it would be pretty much impossible for me to do anything else because I have been told by my doctors to not seek employment during this period, which makes sense. It's still pretty rough. But yeah. Oh dear. Went to London to stay with friends, almost went bankrupt, came when it came to buying a round of drinks. Ooh. But look at you, that financially independent. I would like to be more financially independent at some point, but I also, like, from a realistic standpoint, there are some things that have to happen first, and I am in the process, so we're just waiting. We're just waiting. I'm in a waiting period. Oh dear, it was a very funny tarot reading though. I was cackling. She couldn't hear that, but I was cackling just because she was so spot on. Oh dear, it takes you by surprise. Wow. Oh, right, I'm gonna have to wait for a corporation to either want to hire VTube makers, cosplayers, I guess streamers, maybe? Would joining a stream team be the same as joining a corporation? I guess kind of no, but maybe that's what I could interpret as is I need to join a stream team. I've always put off joining a stream team because I don't want to weigh anyone down. I don't want to weigh anyone down with my inconsistent stream timetable. Oh dear. You gotta give this up with the emote amazing. Whoa! Look at them! Oh, they are amazing. Hell yeah. Look at that pop. That's a good pop right there. Oh dear. Oh, I did have. Oh yeah, architect. What is it? I'd love to hear it. Go on. Go on. Oh dear. It is said that moving on is the best way of easing pain, either emotionally or physically, but I believe looking back and seeing where we went wrong is the real strength. It may be difficult, but it's how humans are supposed to overcome their obstacles. Do you mean those moments where I did something really cringe, and I have to look back on it and be like, ugh. Oh dear. I find it difficult with some of my friends. I definitely want what they have, which is the ability to earn their own money, and they all have what I want, which is yeah, financially supported by someone else. Same. Yeah, I know a lot of people that would like to be in this position. I think it's one of those grass is always greener on the other side, isn't it? It's like if you're working full time and you see someone like me who has freedom to do what they want most of the day. I mean, yes, I'm still bedbound most of the day, but like, you know, has freedom to do what they want a lot of the day. A lot of people are going to see that and be like, well, there's no financial concern. But the thing is, if I want something, I have to ask for it all the time. And it's the only, like, I have a small income from Twitch, which I do very much appreciate, but like, I have to ask for stuff all the time. I feel like I never grew up. And I think for me, because I've been like this since I was 20, I had 2 years of independent adulthood, and then I've had to rely on family, or now Shiny, to look after me. And I've never had that freedom that everyone else has. And so for me, I look at them and I'm like, I don't mind if I'm working 40 hours a week. If it means that I can not have to ask people for help all the time, that would make me feel a lot better. But yeah, it's difficult. It's very much a grass is greener on the other side, isn't it? That being said, I have actually worked 50-hour work weeks to 60-hour work weeks when I was physically able, because I am a workaholic and I get a lot of unhealthy joy from working myself to the bone. But and I did really enjoy it. I loved that. They were the happiest days of my adulthood, I would say. But I'm also probably looking back on it with like fairly rose-tinted glasses, because obviously my life has changed so much since then. Ah dear. But yeah, the one thing would be, it'd be really nice to not have to ask constantly for things that I want, and the guilt of like people buying you train tickets and stuff like that because you can't afford to do that yourself. Yeah, it's not nice. I don't like that personally, but obviously everyone's different. Some people like that, you know, like being able to rely on someone else to cover their finances, and I don't think there's a right or wrong, isn't it? It's just whatever your personality is. Ah dear. Teach people to learn from their own mistakes and not feel terrible about it. Yeah, I think honestly that's a good thing. Yeah, good thing. Oh dear. Oh. And you're not wrong. Being able to see why you made a mistake is or like look at, how to put it, look at it from an objective point of view and be like, this is why it happened, can prevent you from making that same mistake again. Which is good. That's a good thing. If I want anything, I have to ask, and I'm in my 40s. Yeah. It just makes you feel like you've never quite grown up. It's very frustrating. I think as well, it doesn't help that sometimes people will treat you like you haven't grown up because of the position you're in. And it's like, I do kind of want to be treated like an adult. I know that I'm relatively childish, but like, it's nice to feel like you're an adult with the rest of your friends. Like, I'll be meeting up with all of my friends this weekend, right? And I know all of them are in like full-time work or employment, and they're like earning for their household, and I think I'm the only person who's going that isn't. I'm like the only person who's going that can't drive. I'm the only person going who isn't in full-time employment, and you do kind of feel like a failure because everyone else there is able to do something that you physically can't, and it makes you feel like you're and I will say, heads up, because I know some of them are in chat, not that anyone's ever made me feel like that. Like, none of my friends have ever done that to me. They're all very sweet and they all treat me the same as anyone else, which I very much appreciate. But it is difficult to not look at what everyone else can do as normal human beings and be like, I wish I could do that as well, and I didn't have to rely on everyone all the time. Oh dear. Just lurking? Oh, you're fine. Take care, B. You're all good. Listen, you need to become the champion of Apex. I get it. You got this. Get your heckin', is it plat? Oh wait, B. Before you lurk, I need to send you a quick DM, and I've been meaning to send it to you for like a year. No, not a year, but like a period of time. There you go. Did it. Memory. Bam. Done. 10 out of 10. I have a memory sometimes. I think it's very, and yeah. I also had to go through therapy to assist me with that particular thing. So it's really typey right there. I knew what I wanted to say. Yeah, it's hard. It is a really hard thing to wrap your brain around. Seeing everyone around you being able to do normal things and not knowing that you can't do that yourself, and it's not even like oh, I'm saying I can't do it, so I can't do it. Like physically, I can't do that. It is hard. It's a brain hole. It's a brain hole. Yeah, no one's made me feel like that. I don't want it to come across as like I have people in my life saying horrible things to me. I don't. Everyone's very, very sweet. No one's ever made me feel like that. But I feel like it still. One quick essay later, and they speedy. All money goes to the housewives and kids. My life consists of going to work and coming home, so my wife insists that every month I get one day to myself I can go wild. Trip with the lads. Good wife. Honestly, that's a keeper. I mean, I know you already married her, but that's a keeper. Like someone who looks after you like that, who wants you to go out and have some freedom every month, that's a keeper. I know you married them, but that's a keeper. Oh dear. Hell yeah. Ooh. Alright, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting to Sunkoi level right now. Oh dear. I will probably not see now the... Yay! Wow. Cool. I've been meaning to ask B that for a heckin' minute, and you know when you've got something like, oh yeah, I'll message them about it in a minute, let me just go make a cup of tea, and then you go make a cup of tea and you completely forget what you're gonna do. Although I still stand by, I should have asked for a tarot reading on my stairs. Maybe I need to find someone on Twitch who is doing, unless anyone here is doing tarot readings or like spiritual readings and stuff like that. I need a spiritual reading on my stairs. I can take a picture of my stairs if that helps, but I'm like 99% sure my stairs are haunted, and give me a minute to like explain to you. But so basically, I think there's a hole in my stairs, or a rift in my stairs, or a ghost on my stairs, or there's something wrong with those stairs, and it's difficult to explain. I invite everyone in chat to walk up and down my stairs and you'll see what I mean. Because it feels like it sucks your brain out of your ear when you go up and down these stairs. And like, it's very weird. And the other thing is, you hit a point on the stairs, which is probably more to do with old British houses than it is to do with haunting. The air is different. It feels like you can stand on the stairs and the air can feel different on your shoulders than it does on your face. Because it feels like you're going up into it. It's very weird. And then the fact that you also forget whatever you're thinking about while you're on those stairs. So like you could be like really worried about like, oh, we got bills coming up, and then you go up the stairs and you're like, where am I? Yeah. So it's just the stairs, and it's only one set of the stairs because we actually have two sets. But that one set of stairs, there's just something about it. And like, if there is a ghost on my stairs, I don't mind too much, but it does freak me out a little bit. Like sometimes just how effective the stairs are at just making you forget everything that you were thinking about is just gone. Married at 18 just because I was deployed, and since she was pregnant at the time I decided to marry because if something happened to me on deployment she was... Oh, that's really sweet. Yeah, I know a couple people that are they're getting married for similar reasons. It's like, not that they wouldn't have gotten married at some point anyway, but they're rushing through a little bit just because if anything does happen, they want something to be sent back home to their other half rather than like, you know, just the family. So yeah, I know a couple people that are doing something similar. On the plus side, it means I get to go to more weddings, so I'm not honestly against it. I'll go to lots of weddings. You want to get married quickly? I'm okay with it. I'll come to your wedding. I'll cry as you walk down the aisle. I've got my skill set. My skill set is crying at weddings. Oh dear, I'm very good at it. Oh dear. Weddings just make me really emotional. I know some people don't get emotional at weddings at all. I think I have yet to not, at least like a little bit teary, not maybe full blubbering, but like I think I have yet to at least not get teary at a wedding so far. Everyone's wedding has been very successful. I have cried every time. And this is like normally before I've even gone to like drinking anything. Like I'm sober crying at your wedding. Oh my god. I don't know, it's just like about it. Like the whole atmosphere of the weddings and like how sweet and wholesome they are. When people write their own vows as well, lose it. Can't handle that. It's really cute. I don't think I'd be able to write my own vows though, because I think I will just cry. Like I'll be there like, and then you know, Shiny'd have to be like, I don't think my vows would be legible if I was to write them myself. I need something which I can like practice that doesn't mean too much, and then maybe just do a speech at the table when it's okay for me to be blubbering and stuff. I'm very much a cries at weddings person. Oh dear. Oh dear. It's nice. I've been to some lovely weddings. I do love a good wedding. Oh dear. Ugh. When I get married one day, whenever it is, I imagine I'll be crying for like the whole day. I won't get any good pictures from my own wedding. I'll just be crying. Poor makeup artist gonna be running around after me the whole day. Oh dear. I will say, I look forward to getting married though. For those who aren't aware, by the way, I am engaged. I will get married at some point. We've just been wanting my health to improve a little bit first, because otherwise it'd be very difficult for me to enjoy my wedding day, since I'll likely be off my face on pain meds, and like, I want to remember my wedding day. So we've just been waiting for my health to improve to a stage where we think that I could attend my own wedding without being on a lot of painkillers. So yes, I am engaged. I've been engaged for 2-3 years, I think at this point. I think, yeah. So yes, I will one day get married. Honestly, it could be relatively soon, because now that I'm starting to get a little better, you know, we can start maybe thinking about it, which would be good. And then we have to. One thing, you don't have to have a wedding party, do you? At your wedding, you can, but I don't think you have to, right? I guess if it's your wedding, you can do whatever the hell you want. I don't really want to put the pressure on my wedding on anyone else. And I feel like that's kind of what the wedding party is. People that like help you out a lot. And that's very kind of you, but I don't want it to be a pressure event. I want everyone to be able to have a good time. Your wedding, your rules. Yeah, I kind of thought it was like that. All of the weddings I've been to have had fairly large wedding parties, and they always seem like a lot of drama. Well, not all of them. I think if they're family, normally it's okay, but like for instance, on the bridesmaid side of things, I've heard some pretty like stories of like, not necessarily from the bride even, but just from like between the bridesmaids, and like bridesmaids not helping out, bridesmaids not showing up, bridesmaids not even showing up to their dress fittings and stuff like that. And I'm just like, ooh, I don't know. I mean, I feel like my friends would, but I'm also kind of like, you know? Oh dear, you don't have to. No, you just have a couple of guest actors witness for the certificate. Yeah, we were thinking initially of doing like that and just getting it done, because when we got engaged, again, my health was so poor that it's like having a full wedding wouldn't have been possible for me. So we were originally thinking of just going to a courthouse, having like a couple of witnesses and being like, hey ho, there we go. But I'll be honest, I would like to have a festival of food as my wedding day. If I'm being totally honest, what I want to do is have everyone come and eat really, really good food and like just enjoy eating together, because like that's for me, I think, what I would want my celebration to be. I'd want to have, which is why it would be so bloody expensive, but I want to have like different food vendors and just have everyone come in and eat together and have a day of just full-on buffet where you can try different things and eat lots of stuff and just relax and eat with people, you know? That's what I want. Yeah. But yes, that would be, I think, my ideal wedding. And that's a bit of a bigger event. And I think in many ways, the more people, the better, because the more people you can share food with, I think the nicer that is. Ah, dear. You could do a simple courthouse wedding, then have the big to-do. Yeah, that's kind of like, I guess, what I would have... Either that, or... There is a particular venue, obviously I'm not going to say what it is. There is a specific venue that we have in mind, because they work with a lot of other... So they do food themselves, but they work with a lot of other people as well who also supply food. So the idea is that you can work through them to have a lot of different people serving different food at your wedding. So because it feels like that would work for us as a food orientated one, and then but they also are licensed for weddings, so then we wouldn't have to move around too much. The only thing, it depends on how early we start eating, I suppose, but I don't want to be like bloated while saying my vows. So yeah, we'll see. I think we're between those two ideas though, either going to this one place that is licensed and very food orientated already, or doing something at courthouse the day before and then going and get wedding a couple days later or something, I don't know. Ah dear, the food festival, you can charge the vendors for being there. Or true, we can actually, yeah, we'll just make a food festival, you know. We'll be like, right, technically it's our wedding, but we're also just organizing a food festival, so we've rented out this field. Oh dear. I mean, if I fancied having a huge thing to organize, that would be kind of fun, but I think probably not that much. Oh dear. Yeah, we've got a couple of ideas. I love talking about weddings. I love seeing other people's wedding ideas. I kind of like how unique a lot of them are. I've been to like church weddings, but I've been to some pretty unique ones as well. I really like them. I mean, ours wouldn't be religious because we're not religious people, so then we wouldn't be following any traditions like that. Obviously, we'll do the bit with the vows. I think, do you have to? Yeah, it's kind of important, right? We'll do that bit. But like, I would rather that bit be a small part of the wedding and the main of the wedding just be being able to talk to everyone and being able to share food with everyone. Yeah, that's what I think I would like to do most. Because when I think of like a day that I'd actually enjoy, that's a day that I would actually enjoy. A day where everyone's just eating together. Oh dear. Wow. You didn't do vows, fair! Did you just zoom straight past that bit? Because honestly, like, if it's your wedding, you know, fair enough, you do you. I think I'll cry at vows. That'd be the only thing that would stop me. I'm not particularly romantic, but I'm very emotional. Oh dear, man. No, I honestly, I can't wait to be well enough that we can actually do this, because I think it would be a really fun party. A really fun party of just, there's lots of good food and good friends and all that good stuff. Oh dear. I know one thing that everyone has to make the decision of, like, the kind of scale of it though. That bit intimidates me a bit, because there's a lot of people, when you're looking at like bookings and stuff like that, if you are going through another company, they'll be like up to 20, up to 50, and then it jumps to like up to 100 and you're like, oh god. Ooh, that's a lot of people. I don't know. I don't know if we need 100, but like, you know, 50 might not be enough. I don't know. We have quite a bit of family. Heck. We just had an officiant do the fairly brief thing, and then y'all are married now, and he made some sort of motion of kissing, because we did like, oh yeah, like, you married. Aww. Was it nice? Is that what you wanted for your day though, Gev? It sounds like there's a lot less pressure, because there's one thing, like a lot of my friends who have been married now have talked about like the pressure on the day of like, you know, you're the center of attention. Is that less pressure? Oh dear. Nat, good morning. I hope you're doing well. Oh dear. We might have had 40 people in total, one maid of honor and one best man. Hell yeah. I mean, I know who my maid of honor would be because I have sisters. So like, when it comes to a bridal party, I'm like pretty ready, because we got a lot of women already in the family who would be maid of honor, matron of honor, bridesmaids, all that kind of stuff. We're ready. So that's fine. Oh dear. It's just that I don't know if I'd want to put too much pressure. They're busy beans. Oh dear. I don't know if I want to put any pressure on them. Maybe if I can just have it as like, listen, we're gonna call you this, but you just have to turn up. You're good. We got married in a church, and it was a disaster. The vicar called my wife the wrong name, just put fingers on the wrong fingers until we said our vows. He noticed. Oh, but I'm assuming those are kind of like jokes you make afterwards. So you're like, remember when we nearly didn't get married because we didn't do the rings correctly? What is it? They say that something goes wrong on your wedding day every single time. I don't think anyone gets married without something going wrong. My bachelor party was a LAN party? Oh my god. That's amazing. That's amazing. I love that. 10 out of 10. I would do the same. Like, y'all want to get on some Minecraft together? Hell yeah. Good party. Good party. Thing is, I know that I'd enjoy that. It's not like I'd be like worried of, oh, will everyone have a good time? Like, no, I would definitely have a good time. That's fun. This is fun and relaxed without too much pressure. Hell yeah. Oh dear. I'd like that. That'd be nice. Hell yeah. What? By the way, we've nearly finished the first row. While we've been talking about all this, I've nearly done one row. We're getting there. We've only got like 100 more to go. Minecraft didn't exist. Oh no! Wait, what did you play? What were the games? What were the games you were looking at? Oh dear. I like Minecraft. I'm trying to think what else I would like as a bigger multiplayer game. I've always wanted to play Mario Party. I've never played Mario Party. I've never owned it or gone to anyone else's, I guess. So I've never played Mario Party, but I've always kind of wanted to play Mario Party. It looks really fun. I know they say that you ruin friendships with that game, kind of like Monopoly, but I also really enjoy Monopoly, so I feel like I would enjoy that bit of it too. But yeah, I would like to play Mario Party one day. I mean, it doesn't have to be for like a special occasion. It's just a game that one day I would like to play with people. There we go. Could have been Command and Conquer. Nice. Nice. Oh dear. I remember, it's not Command and Conquer, but I think do we have it in a pack with Command and Conquer? I feel like, you know when video games used to come in CDs that you'd put in, and sometimes you'd have 2 video games per CD? Like we had I think it was Dirt and Lego Batman on the same CD. For this, it was the same game CD once. Remember when games used to do that? You get multiple games per CD. Sometimes you'd get demos for other games on the same CD as well. Like we got like a demo for Lara Croft, I think, on the same CD as the Dirt and Lego Batman. Oh my god. Mario Kart or Street Fighter on the NES? NES, yes. SNES. Caused so many fights between me and my brothers. Oh dear. See, we didn't really have any games like that. Like, I maybe it's just because the consoles we had, but we had a PS1, PS2, and then we went to Xbox 360, so we never had any Nintendo consoles. My first Nintendo console was the Switch. Yeah. Tomb Raider! Got married on April 1st! Aww. Tomb Raider! Hell yeah. Ah, dear. Cute. Hell yeah. I did like Tomb Raider. But we only... Actually, no, I said I liked Tomb Raider. We didn't have the game, we only had the demos. So I liked what I played of the Lara Croft games, but we only had the demos, so I never finished them because they were just demos. Oh dear. Yeah, we had a few game demos. We had a Pac-Man demo. I'm gonna have to look this up because it was like it wasn't like the standard Pac-Man game. Pac-Man, was it like Mario style? I don't remember what it was called is the thing. But I remember playing the demo a lot. If I look at images, oh, it's not coming up. It wasn't Pac-Man Party, was it? Maybe Pac-Man Fever? Maybe if I just play Pac-Man all games. I'm probably not going to remember it because it's been, oh my god, there's so many Pac-Man games. Oh no. Okay. Was it this one? That kind of looks like how I remember it. What's the name of that though? Is it Pac-Man World? It might have been Pac-Man World. I remember we had this demo for it. Yeah, I feel like it was that. Pac-Man World. Yeah, because you could like run around. Yeah! Yeah! I'm like 99% sure. I don't know if it was Pac-Man World 1 or like a different one, but I'm like 99% sure we had like a demo for Pac-Man World and I loved it and I played it so much. And it was just the demo. And like, I really enjoyed it. But when you're younger as well, you don't always, like, doesn't add up to you that there's a full game for this. So I never asked for the full game. I just played the demo a lot and I had a great time. Yeah! A little demo of this game. It was great. It was weird. It was like an open world, not open world, but like more like Mario kind of esque Pac-Man. It's just Mario with Pac-Man, really. And you could like run around on the world and stuff. Yeah, it was cool. I like that. Is there more Pac-Man worlds coming? What's weird is, yeah, it was on PlayStation. Not, yeah, it was on PlayStation, not on Nintendo. Oh, that was cool. I like that. That was good. 10 out of 10. Enjoyed that demo a lot. Oh dear. Tomb Raider back in the day, every teen boy was only interested in Lara Croft's ass. I don't think we had the original Tomb Raider demo. I think we had like a later one. So the demo was like running around Lara Croft's house, is what I remember. So like we were like all running around Lara Croft's house, and there were like puzzles. That was the demo. So it wasn't like what you would imagine from Tomb Raider, because it was just a demo. But I did enjoy it. It was fun. It was like a puzzle. It felt more like a Cluedo or something like that than it did. And there was a maze, and I do remember the maze. Oh dear. Since I wasn't a teen at the time, I liked her braids and her brawn. Hell yeah. I liked her triangular polygonal titties. That's the main thing I think of when I think Lara Croft, and it's never going to change, because that's like all the memes I've seen, and I never played a full game. So all I know really of Lara Croft is from the memes. I do hear that the more recent games, though, are actually really good. Like, they're actually fun to play. I think Deimos played some of them maybe on stream. It sounds maybe like the second Tomb Raider. Let me have a look. Tomb Raider 2. Not the movie. Game. If I look at images. Yeah, I think you might be right. This is looking like, yes, the second Tomb Raider, I think, is what we would have had just the demo for. Bear in mind, never had the full game. Yes, this is kind of what I remember. Ah dear. I am gonna ask Voodoo. I know that you're not doing and also Gev. I know that you're not doing it on purpose, and it's a bit we do have a strictly no ages in chat. So I know that you're not saying your age, but it's just like, it's towing the line there. Yeah, it's just because we don't want people to start, we don't want to encourage people, like once one person says their age, everyone starts saying their age, and then somebody will come out of the woodwork and be like, I'm 12, and it's like, great. So yeah, no ages, please. I know that you don't mean any harm. It is one of the only rules that we're very, very strict about in this channel. Just to protect anyone who, and try and not encourage anyone who's younger to come out of the woodwork being like, I'm 8 years old, and then they're suddenly a target for like someone to message. A certain kind of person to message, you know? Yeah. It's not you that I'm worried about. It's the person who'll come after you. Oh dear. But yeah, it does look like the second Tomb Raider is definitely what it looks like. I think you might be spot on there. I want to go back and actually play the full games of some of these games that I had as demos, because like, yeah, I would never have played the full game. It would have literally just been that first little demo. I wonder if there's a way, like Tomb Raider 2 for instance, is there a way that you can play that now without having the original game? And what about Pac-Man World? I'm wondering. Oh, it says Microsoft Windows. More? Maybe. Okay, I think maybe this one I could play. Although maybe that's on a emulator. I don't know what Twitch is like with emulating games, to be honest. And I've stayed away from it before because I don't want to be doing anything naughty, and I don't, like, as much as we joke about TOS a lot, that's one where I'm like, I'm not really sure where like you stand with emulated games on Twitch. Like, because there are some games that I'd really like to play, but the only way that I can play them is emulated because I don't have the console for the game, or because the game is like a collector's item now, so it's like I can't afford to spend like 150 quid on a PS2 game, you know? But there's a lot of games that I'd like to play that I think I could only emulate. Ah, dear. I really miss Alex the Kid on Sega Mega System. That game was amazing. I don't know that game. Also, Isacia, good morning. Yeah, we're talking about like older games. We're talking about like when games had like demos that you could play, where I didn't find the demos I used to play. I think Twitch starts games, you have to own the game. So if I own the game and then I emulated it, would that be allowed? Because I would technically own the game, just I wouldn't have any way to normally stream it. Because that's the other thing, is most of these games consoles would not very easily be hooking up to like your computer, because the computer wouldn't have existed at the time. But if I if I own the physical copy of the game, would they be okay with me emulating it? I wonder. Sorry, I don't expect anyone to necessarily have the answer to this. This is just like, I guess, me wondering. Because some of the games I think I might not own, but my parents have them still. It's perfectly fine to use an emulator on Twitch. The use of emulators is very popular, especially within speedrunning and retro games communities. The real issue lies in the use of playing specific game ROMs. It's not against Twitch 2OS to play a cracked version of the game, but it's also illegal. That's from Twitch itself. Okay. Yeah, I get that, because yeah, emulating games obviously isn't a legal thing to do. Even if it is popular, and I don't want to be breaking the rules. It's just there are some games that like there's no remaster of them. There's no other way that I can play them. Let's talk about like we're talking about like Haunting Ground, Rule of Rose, stuff like that. And a lot of those games are now also, if I try and buy Rule of Rose, let's have a look. Rule of Rose as an example of a game that I would love to play on stream, but like I know is going to be very difficult. What kind of prices? They're going for about 203 quid used. Yeah. They're collector's items because a lot of these games didn't sell very well. So yeah, like this is what I'm talking about. I'd love to play Rule of Rose on stream, but I'd have to spend 200 quid on the game and then emulate it because there's just no other way of playing it if I maybe wanted to skirt around that policy. Haunting Ground I don't think is as bad as Rule of Rose. Like they're not outside of TOS either, so like that's not a problem. I can buy Haunting Ground for about 100 quid. Just under 100 quid used. Yeah. They're expensive. They're collector's items, really. Oh, there's one for 87 quid used. So I could buy one for 87 quid and used. Oh yeah, you might be... If you have old PS2 games, because these are both PS2 games as well. These are like not even that old. Can you clarify what emulating is? Emulating is using a program to play a game that you maybe don't have access to. So for instance, a game that might not have been remastered, emulating the game is basically a way of playing that game on PC. So not on the console it was made for, it just puts the game straight onto PC, you play it on there. It still assumes that you're playing it on its original console, but you're playing it on PC, so you just have to make sure that your keys are mapped correctly, and there are a lot of emulators that will do that for you. Yes. But it is also a way that so looking from a legal standpoint, you don't have to have paid for the game, you don't have to have bought the game, you can find it on an emulator and just play it. So it is very much pirating a lot of the time as well. So that's where it becomes into like a legal thing. If emulating isn't legal for the most part, I don't remember any games that say you can legally emulate them because you're not paying for the game. But there are games like this, like Haunting Ground, like Rule of Rose, games that I would love to play for you that it would be very difficult even if I had the console to stream it for you without use of an emulator. But also buying the game itself is a collector's item. They're very expensive. So yeah. Yeah, it's difficult. It's a difficult like line to do, because like for instance for Halloween this year we'll be doing Booptober and all that, and I'm not going to talk too much about Booptober just yet because it's still in planning, but I would also like to do some Halloween stuff this year, and I would love to do some of these older spooky games that people don't talk about as much, like both Haunting Ground and Rule of Rose are more psychological horrors, and I love those games. I think they're great. I just think I prefer Haunting Ground, no offense Rule of Rose, but I prefer Haunting Ground. But I love those games, and I think they're really interesting games that people don't often play because they're collector's items and they're a nightmare to stream. But I would probably have to use an emulator to play them, and I just wouldn't want to do something that would maybe put me in Twitch's bad books, you know? Yeah. I have a copy of Devil Game which has been banned. You can no longer get it, and that's worth. But do you want to keep it and have it keep earning money, or do you want to sell it now? It's difficult, right? I was confused because I was like, surely you can just pick up a game and play it on stream. Yeah, it's mainly, so emulators are mainly for older games for the most part. Yes, you can emulate new games, that's just very much just pirating. But for the most part, when you see people using them on streams, they're to emulate older retro games, which you normally wouldn't be able to play. The Halloween, you say? Yeah, that's Shifty's month right there. Also, Queena, good morning. I hope you're doing well. A very spooky Halloween game is Shrek Treasure Hunt. Terrifying. That's my favorite horror game, actually. You call me. Also, Andrew, good morning. You can also get games at Abandonware, but that's a little off topic. That's, you know, it's a point. Ah, I'm keeping it. I will open it at some point and play it. Hell yeah! That's just Ember, just Ember. Oh dear. There were a couple of other games I really wanted to do as well, just like older games. It's just harder to get hold of them. Again, like, I'll be honest, I don't want to pirate these games because they are games that I respect. I would like to actually purchase and own the game. The difficulty is going to be that they are very expensive, and because they are collector's items, to get just 2 of the games I want is £300. Also, thank you for the hydrate. I might finish my tea quickly so that I still have water on one side, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, the other option, it is the summer. I could just take a look around car boot sales. I mean, a lot of people don't know the value of old PS2 games, and like, I wouldn't be buying them for the value of them. I would be buying them because I want to play them, but I could just hunt around. Like, I think that is one thing about living rurally. There are normally more car boot sales. Car boot sales near me. Things I can't show on stream because I would dox myself, but I would like to look. Yeah, there's loads. Okay, I could just, you know, maybe hunt around some car boot sales and hope to get lucky. Because yeah, I feel like those are some of the best ways of doing it, because they don't really sell PS2 games in or I could check Kex. Kex might, but I feel like Kex would put it in a collector's box because Kex is gonna know the value of them, isn't it? Whereas I don't know that. I don't think that the people. Oh man, yeah, there's loads. Okay. Well, I mean, this does kind of. Ooh. Ooh. Does this one still exist? Sorry, I've just noticed there's one really close by. Okay. Someone said they didn't like the plants. Fair. I also, you know what? I also don't go to car boot sales for plants, but they are good on you. There's a few up there, man. Oh my god, there's loads. God, Wales has so many car boot sales. Hell yeah, Wales. Good on you. Some of them do seem more market-esque. Oh man, this one looks like a good one. Whoa, I want to go to that one. That's twice a week? That's ages away is the problem, but like, whoa. I want to go this one. I'll have to find a way. Yeah, maybe I'll just stalk car boot sales for a while, see if I can find it. Ah, dear. Thank you for the Hydra. I did need it. I used to see it. Car boot sales at charity shops. I found some really good gems. I bought Alienware. Can I tell you, every time I go to car boot sales now, car boot sales, charity shops, I'm like looking at Nerf blasters because I'm like, would Vile like this Nerf blaster? Would this be a good Nerf blaster for Vile? I don't know anything about Nerf blasters, but I'm like, will this be a good one for Vile? I don't know. So far I've had no's. They're fine, but they're not what Vile likes to do. Kex is way overpriced. It is. I was paying 50 quid for it. Whoa, that's pretty good. Yeah, Kex knows if something's valuable. Good old Wales. There was a great retro shop nearby while at uni. It has literally had games from every gen console, but it shut down during COVID. Damn it. Did I miss, like, are we talking about something? Kex is a game store. They do games. CEX. Ah, dear. Kex, yeah, Kex. How to go find a live deli. Go to Welsh car boot sales and be at all of them. I'll be at all of them. If they're all on different days, even perfecter. Oh, dear. If it's a Nerf blaster, the answer is yes. Everyone has to have a Nerf blaster. Yeah, so Vile, one of our mods, I can literally shout them out now. They're not here. They'll be secret shout out. If you haven't met on Vile, you met Vile mods Nerf blasters live on Twitch. So whenever I am like looking at Nerf stuff, I'm like, would Vile like this? Because Vile uses a lot of different Nerf blasters because they mod them. They put modifications on them. Kex is Kex, yeah, Kex. Correct me if there's a complete way to pronounce Kex. Thank you, it's Kex. Did Game go under? I don't know. I think Game's still around. They maybe lost a few stores, but I feel like they exist, maybe? I don't know. I never went to Game. I went to Kex. But yeah, I probably wouldn't be buying games like Haunting Ground or Rule of Rose and stuff like that from Kex because it would be very expensive. But I'd love to stream games like that. Like, those are the oldie horrors. That being said, I do think the themes of some of these older horror games are actually genuinely really interesting. Like, I won't spoil the games too much because I do want to play them. But I'm just going to use these two as examples because I know they're expensive and hard to get. But Haunting Ground has a running theme of sexuality and pregnancy throughout it as a horror game. Your brain can fill in the gaps a little bit of why that might be really scary, and it was definitely more of a stalking style video game where like you are being watched all the time. So it's the fear of being watched as well as like pregnancy and sexuality and stuff. So it is maybe more of an edgy theme nowadays because I feel like that's something that would be, people wouldn't touch it with a barge pole, but they did, and they did a pretty good job, I think, of it. It is horrific at times. It's very scary. And then Rule of Rose is using children in horror, like very specifically. And it's the horror of, it's a realist, obviously it's exaggerated, but it's, kids lack empathy often. And so the things that kids will do may seem really unempathetic because you're still developing empathy and stuff as you're growing as a child. So because kids often can lack empathy at times, which isn't their fault, they're growing, using that lack of empathy in a horror game again. Both of these themes actually got both of these games absolutely slated when they came out. Like, newspapers were saying all sorts of things, and you have to also bear in mind this was the era of the news really going off on like games being like, games are causing kids to grow up and be evil, and they're making your kids do violent acts, and it was like that kind of time period that these games came out. So you can imagine the media ate this up and was like, using kids in a horror game, that's awful, that's child abuse, you can't do that. And then the same with Haunting Ground, which is part of the reason both of these games sold so poorly, because the people that have actually played those games, they are flawed games, but they're not bad. But if you haven't played it and you just hear the themes, yeah, back then they were like, these are bad games. You can't play these. Don't let your kids play these. But which I don't think they were aimed at kids anyway. I'm pretty sure most of them are yeah, they're both 16 plus. So they weren't aimed at children anyway. But yeah, it was like that kind of era where they were like, how dare these games come out and have children in them, and that like this is awful. So yes, that's why they sold so badly. It's also why they're so hard to find now, because they were like whipped off the shelves in a lot of places. I don't know if you can even buy the game in like some countries in Europe. So yeah, it's why they became collector's items, unfortunately. It's due to like the outcry of people that hadn't actually played the games. Because if I'll be honest, I will say Haunting Ground I think came out before its time. If I'm being honest, I truly believe that Haunting Ground would do much better if it come out for the first time now than if it came out then, because a lot of the even though it's exaggerated, a lot of the stuff that happens within the game feels almost more like it's even more prevalent now than it was when the game came out. When we're talking about stalking, when we're talking about those kind of relationships between someone who is being stalked and the person, and those uncomfortableness parts, it feels like, obviously it's always happened, but it feels like with the internet age now where it happens a lot more now than it did back when the game came out. It feels like a lot of the stories being told in Haunting Ground would maybe resonate more now than it did when it came out. Another reason probably why it's so hard to goddamn get hold of, because everyone's hoarding that, which I understand. I would hoard it too. If you do like those games, let me know so I don't watch. Fair. They are spooky. Children are horror. Yeah. I'd like to do like a whole week of like old horror games that I am attached to and do them with like everyone else. I'm happy to throw in some Silent Hills and stuff like that. Although I found out the other day, my parents have played more Silent Hill than I have, and I am embarrassed to my core. Like, I was chatting with Mama Jelly about it like ages ago, actually, probably like 6 months ago about it. She was like, oh yeah, I remember playing that. I played like 1, 2, I did a couple of the offsets. Like, they were all right. I don't think any of them were quite as good as number 2, but I still enjoyed them. I was like, wait, how many of the Silent Hill games have you played? Wait, why have you played so many of the Silent Hill games? So yeah, that's probably also where my horror stuff come from. It's them. I didn't realize they'd played so many. I knew they'd played it, but I didn't realize they'd played at many. So Yeah, so far my parents have played more than I have, which is a little embarrassing. I feel like I need to up my numbers now. How dare my parents play more than me? Awesome, Moriku, welcome on in. We're talking about older horror games and horror franchises and stuff like that. Welcome on in, I hope you're doing well. And how a lot of them are now collector's items, unfortunately, so we're going to have to scour the car boot sales. Thing is, I love car boot sales. I was raised in car boot sales. I love them, they are 10 out of 10. You can get so many good things at a car boot sale. We also lived in like a relatively well-off area, and so when we went to the car boot sales, it was all the rich people getting rid of their old stuff, and we'd be there like getting all of our stuff for our house there. 10 out of 10. Also, if you have kids, car boot sale, godsend, because kids grow out of stuff so quickly. So like when you have kids in the family, you can be like, oh perfect, let's just buy them a whole new wardrobe for like 10p, because everyone's selling baby clothes for like, you know, just buy a bundle for like 10p. You can just have them because they grow through them so quickly. So we found all these really like rich people baby clothes that we'd be wearing and like my siblings would be wearing because they get them at car boot sale. It's great. 10 out of 10, loved it. Oh dear, my parents are too cool. They are. My parents will always out-cool me, unfortunately. I think I just have to accept it at some point. Most horror games these days are laughable and not scary. No build-up of suspense, just jump scares around every corner. And I think that's one thing, is a lot of these older horror games didn't rely on jump scares. They existed, but they relied more on the themes, like the themes that would stay with you after the game was over. And probably a lot of it had to do with the limitations of the consoles and stuff like that, and that's what worked on horror back in the day. But I actually prefer that. I prefer a theme that stays with you. If the theme is pregnancy and making that horror, that will stick with me, especially as a woman, and as well as like the themes of children, and you can see these themes replicated in real life, and it makes that horror come back to you again and again, and I think that's really cool. I like that. Have you played Silent Hill? Yes, but not the whole way through, and it's been a very long time. I think I've only done 2, which unfortunately I think a lot of people say 2 is the best one, right? Yeah, and I think I would have almost preferred to have played one of the ones people didn't think was the best. No, because like now my expectations for the rest of the series are really high, and it's like I've heard they're not as good from my mum. When your mum's like, oh yeah, play this one, this one, this one, this one, you're like, oh god. How did I get so behind? My mum is a champion of Dreamlight Valley, but getting my dad to play any video game is impossible. Both my parents were in the generation of playing games. So like, they would play video games with me growing up. Like, obviously not Silent Hill, I should say. I didn't play that growing up. I played that when I was a little bit older. But like, we played like Toe Jam and Earl, we played the original Sonic, Psycho Pinball, we played Geometry Wars when we got a little bit older, because that was a great like multiplayer game. So yes. Did they make a movie? I think they've made a couple movies, if memory serves. I could be wrong. I could be thinking of another franchise, but yeah, I think they have. 2 is getting a remake, no idea if it'll be good or not. I think it will be good. I think it depends what they keep and what they get away. Any advice? If you're playing the original, and you're honestly, there's a lot of advice I can give. There's a lot of areas where you don't have to fight. You know, there are areas where it's easy, but you can conserve your because it's a survival horror, right? Yeah. I don't want to give anything too much away, because I think the stuff with Silent Hill is experiencing it, because again, it's very story driven, very psychology driven. But yeah, I guess any advice would be for generally all survival horrors from that era, you don't have to fight everything. you can just run a lot of the time. And yes, ain't got time for that is a valid strategy. It is. Mum played so much Age of Empires, we played Age of Empires too. I like the noises. Did Mama take to avoid Homecoming? Maybe. I'd have to ask her again. I'd be like, Mama Jelly, so sorry. I know I asked you about this about 6 months ago. Which were the ones you said not to play? I think she liked 2 and 3. I can't remember, because I think she liked and then was it 3 she liked? I don't know. I have to double check. 2 I know was a good one though, which is also the only one I remember. Dear, all good. Yeah, you don't have to fight everything. Yes, Jello Mum, Mama Jello. Ain't got time for that. Yeah, it's a very valid story. I think in all the games of that period though, like all the survival horrors, just run. You can just run. And a lot of the time, running is good. 2 and 3 are considered the best by most people. Okay, 1 is good. I don't know if she's played 1. I'd have to double check with her if she's played 1. I don't remember that one coming up, but then again, maybe just she didn't recommend it. Looking forward to it. Hell yeah. Crafty Jelly Mom plays Silent Hill. She is, and me, she is as jumpy as I am, but she will laugh as she's jumping. So like doing horror things, there was one moment that I remember very vividly. We were doing like a horror maze, when you go around a maze and it's like horror themed, so there's like lots of actors and stuff like that. So we all have to walk with your hand on the shoulder of the person in front of you, right? Because that way you don't get lost in the darker areas. So you're all walking around like this. Mama Jelly was behind me, and every time there was a spook, she'd be like, oh, and I was just pissing myself, because like these poor actors, and they were like doing really well, and they were really spooky, and they were doing a really good job, but I couldn't get over my mum behind me, just the entire way around the maze. Oh dear, we've never forgotten that, because the others all had like a really like scary experience with it, and we came out like crying tears of laughter. Her because that's what she's like when she's spooked, and me because I couldn't stop laughing at being like behind me. Like, it was so distracting. I kept being like, Mum, stop. You gotta stop laughing. Oh my god, I like horror mazes. Horror mazes are really fun. Like when it's not a maze, but it's like when you get taken around a horror exhibit with like actors and sets and scenery. It's really cool. I really like that. It's like a really fun way of experiencing horror. I've always kind of enjoyed those, but you have to have someone near you that is not constantly going, otherwise it ruins the experience. As good as the actors were and as cool as the sets were, I just couldn't get over the behind me. Especially because it was on my shoulder, because she kept making me jump by like tensing her shoulder up because she jumped. Like, well, just tensing her hand on my shoulder because she jumped. So I jump at that and then I just get Imagine a hooting under a seat would be a fun ghost, yeah. I love the local horror maze. They used to chase you for a mansion, which yeah, stuff like that. The only thing was they weren't allowed to do running. So you had to just walk through it, which meant that like they'd get really, really close to you a lot of the time. So I guess it's different. Being chased is fun. I think the only bit you could be chased in was the bit leading out to the whole rest of it, because it was like a long route, so you'd be there for like, I want to say half an hour. It was a big thing, these ones that we went to, but you only ran at the last bit where where one of the guides would be like, all right, we gotta go, they're coming now, and then they'd like run, you'd see them coming kind of behind you, so the guide would be like, right guys, we gotta go, split, go, and then you'd all run at the end. But like most of it you couldn't run through, because there was just it was, I guess, very artistic, but like you had to be careful because there was so much going on. And yeah, they didn't want to get anyone to actually get hurt. The other thing is that the employees, you consented that they could touch you, so you'd be being grabbed and stuff like that. So you could imagine if you like ran or ripped away, you might knock into something. So you have to just walk through, and it definitely adds a different kind of horror. Oh dear, coming in that mansion, they would chase you. Yeah, we only got chased at the end, but I'll be honest, I'm fine with that. Oh dear. I was fine with that. I enjoyed the walking around. I don't mind horror houses, but if there's dolls in there, that's a hard no. Yeah, my family, one of them, I've got a lot of family, get ready for this. One of them collected porcelain dolls, and they had the porcelain doll room. And this was before, I saw that for the first time before I saw any horror movies, because they always had that room. So like, you know, you'd go in and it'd just be loads of porcelain dolls on lots of built shelves ready for porcelain dolls, right? And then later on I'd watch horror films and there'd be porcelain dolls and I'd be like, oh, it's like Auntie so-and-so's room, you know? I think that kind of ruined the horror of dolls, because I think you need to see it in the other order. I think you need to see the horror of dolls first and then that, but yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I always thought it was unusual, but it wasn't like, yeah. It means I probably never quite got a phobia of dolls. Oh, I can't stand it if they grab you. Yeah, you wouldn't have liked this one then. There was a lot of handling. Obviously carefully, but yeah. Ah, dear. But again, my mum behind me just the whole time. No fear there. Oh dear. Oh, good times though. You know what? They're good, happy memories now of going around horror houses with my mum. Oh dear, I'd love to do one of those again at some point. I'm gonna have to just quickly turn the aircon on. I don't know if you can tell, but it's getting more sweaty in here. Also, I'm gonna hide myself because I have a horrible feeling that this might be a slightly see-through dress at the bottom and I won't be showing you too much. Just in case. I don't know. It's difficult. I haven't checked in front of a mirror, so I'm not sure yet. Okay, get that there. I've had the window closed, see, because it's been like a little bit more, I guess, dark. But even with it being dark, it's still getting very, very hot in here. The reassurance of, yeah. Oh, there goes my front. Oh, there. Close that one as well. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Oh, dear. Come with my mum next time. Yeah. She makes you feel a lot safer for sure. Look on Google for Zombie Nightmare in Swansea. It's kind of like a haunted maze, but you have a handful of people, other survivors, and you have to find a cure for the zombie virus. Oh my god, that sounds really fun. I would want to be a zombie immediately. I'd be like, come, take me. I want to be a zombie. I want to chase people. Which is probably not how you... Oh, wait, let me put myself there. There you go. Not how you're meant to play the game, but I want to be a zombie. If I could choose between being a survivor and a zombie, I'd want to be a zombie every time. I'm gonna be like, with all the makeup and everything. Oh dear, that'd be fun. I haven't got to a haunted house thing, but I did play Freddy Krueger. Did you? That does sound fun. Hell yeah. Playing Freddy. Oh, nice. That'd be a fun role. I would love to. God, I always make villain costumes because secretly I just want to be the villain. But I don't really have the, I think, presence of like someone particularly scary, unfortunately. I'm not that big. And I had chubby cheeks. Maybe I could do Chucky. I feel like that's probably the only like traditional horror thing I could do because I got a bit too much of a smiley face otherwise. Maybe I could do It. Maybe. Although that is like a very specific kind of smile. Then again, so is Chucky, I guess, but yeah. Oh dear. You can volunteer to do a zombie and they dress you up. That's what I want. Okay, well there you go. That's what I'd like to do. I want to be a zombie. There's an acting agency that hires out zombies for October. You could literally be a zombie for a whole month. I can't though, because October is boob month. I'm busy. October is a very busy month for me. As much as I'd love to be a zombie for a whole month, my priorities are tits. Oh dear, everyone used to say that my 12-foot long arms were terrifying. It took me a minute there. It took me a minute there. Like, wait, what? Oh yeah, I forget that you have 12-foot long arms. You could be, that would be scary. Zombie boobies? Zoobies? My zoobies. Oh my god. Hell yeah. Oh. I really want to find more old horror games now. Anyone got any horror games, I want to say from like PS1, PS2 era? Anyone got any other horror game recommendations? Because I feel like I forgot. I'm sorry. No, you're good. The zombies got me. Oh dear. Resident Evil, yes. Resident Evil 2 specifically, I guess, would be the one. But I could Resident Evil 2. And that's getting... Oh, is it 2 or 4 that's getting a remake? I think it's 2. 2 already has a remake. And yeah, 2 already has one. It's 4 that's getting one. Okay. Oh, I could do an old Resi game, maybe. Phantasmagoria? Phantasmagoria? I have a Google of that one. Phantasmagoria. Ooh. Okay. I'll be honest, I haven't heard of this one. I have to look into it. Cool. Hell yeah. Oh dear, 2, 3, and 4 all have remakes. There we are. I was gonna say, no, I know some of them have been remade. Hell yeah. I was placed in a washing machine. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I conjured a word out and that sentence. I was placed in a washing machine. Full stop. I was placed... I think it's because it says wall underneath it. And I just put the W as if it was a washing machine. I placed in the machine when we were given a smoke generator. It worked really well. All the visitors walked along, had a little jog in it, and one poor girl with feature recorder had to be extracted by computers even if I'd unmarked. Aww. old game, but oh yeah, Soma. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on Soma because I remember you recommending it back when we were doing Alien Isolation, so I've had it on my list for a while of like games that I might play if I need a horror game that's a bit newer, because yeah, it's still there. Do not worry, I still have it on the list from back in the day. What's the name of the Japanese one where it's trapped in an evil school? Oh, actually, I feel like I recognize that one as well. That's ringing bells. Oh, what was it called? Hell Knight was an okay game. Okay, I was chased by a washing machine. White Day, it could be White Day. Or is that the newer one? That might be the newer one. I'm looking at Hell Knight just quickly. Oh my god, Hell Knight! I'm seeing DVDs. I'm not seeing a game, unfortunately. I'm wondering if it's going to be one of those ones. Yeah, there it is. 170 quid. It's a collectible. I wonder if Hell Knight might be collectible. I think it's Korean, not Japanese. I'll have a look. Is this the one I'm thinking of? White Day. Oh no, I need White Day game, because otherwise I'm just gonna get White Day, which is a thing. Oh, I know what this is. This isn't the one that I was thinking of, but I do know of this game, yes. And that is that they are trapped in a school. I'm thinking of a different one. Yes, I know of this game, and this was a game that I actually wanted to play. Because yeah, I have a PS4. But no, it's not the one that I'm thinking of, but it is a game that I like the idea of. Also, thank you so much. You have cooled the room down. I'm good now. Eternal Darkness Dante's Requiem. Oh, okay. Corpse Party is the name. Corpse Party I've played on stream before, but it's not that one. Although that is a good, like, well, it's not that good, but it's an older one. No, don't microphone me. God, absolutely not. Stop that. I want to just Google Eternal Darkness Sanity's Requiem, please. Oh, this one's not too collector's item-ish. I can actually purchase this one for a GameCube, which I will never own, but I could buy and emulate, I guess. It's not as difficult as some of the other ones, that's for sure. Oh dear. Requiem for a Dream. Yeah, that's my favorite video game, is Requiem for a Dream. Oh man, it's gonna really bother me. I'm pretty sure it's PS2 era. PS2 horror. I'm just gonna type in PS2 horror games and see if it comes up. Oh, I feel like I recognize Fatal Frame. Is it Fatal Frame that I'm thinking of? I don't know. Maybe no. I can check. Oh, I didn't spell it right. Is it Fatal Frame that I'm thinking of? No, it's not. Although I do recognize Fatal Frame, weirdly. I don't think I've played it, though. But I do recognize it. It's probably one of those ones that's like, if you like Haunting Grounds, you'll like Fatal Frame, because from the look of it, there's a lot of similar images. Was it obscure? I don't know. I don't think so. It needs a remake or sequel on the modern non-Nintendo platform. I'd like to play again, but I no longer have a James Cube. I no longer have the James Cube. Bloodborne PS1 edition. Was it obscure? I didn't think it was that obscure. But now I'm like looking back, like maybe it is. Excuse me. I'm just like scrolling through a lot of these. People talking about why Rule of Rose is so rare. I know why Rule of Rose was so rare. It's because everyone said it had like, what did they say? They had like child abuse in it or something like that. Which, I mean, you're talking about in the very like actual meaning of the word. It had children being abusive towards other children, but it was mainly just bullying, which is still not a good thing. But like, I think saying that it had child abuse in it is a bit. It's difficult. You're not technically wrong, but you're not painting it in the right light either. It has bullying in it, heavy bullying. Oh dear. Okami. Okami's not a horror game, but I did like Okami. I actually still own that, I think, on PS2. I do still have a bit of a collection of PS2 games. It's not a lot. Clock Tower. Clock Tower wasn't the one that I was thinking of, but Clock Tower is another one. Is this a collector's item? I swear to God. Clock Tower was another one that was on my list, though. I need the game. Otherwise, I've just got lots of pictures of Big Ben on my screen right now. Yeah, that was on my list of games, like iconic older horror games that I wanted to play. But I have a feeling... Oh, actually... Okay, I'm getting a big mixture of prices. Some of these are a lot more expensive than others. Oh god, okay. I'd have to do a bit more research into this one then, because some of these are a lot more expensive than others, and I'm not exactly sure why. No, literally, a game was called Obscure. I'm sorry, it's the game Obscure. Is it Obscure? Obscure. No. No, it wasn't, but I am liking the look of this. Oh, it's very survival horror-esque, isn't it? It wasn't Obscure, but I like the idea. You could play Clock Tower for I don't have an NES, though. Oh, dear. Alternative realities, different brain chemistry, yeah. Oh, dear. Scott, good morning as well. I hope you're doing well. We're talking about old horror games. I am also doing some smocking. I promise I'm working. I'm trying to remember what this one game was, but the name has escaped me. So far, though, I have got 3 that I was like, those are 3 that I'd like to do. But no, I don't think it was Obscure. Although I do like the look of Obscure. I might just hold that and have a little look into it a bit more. God, I'm not sure. Oh, I'm not sure. Deary me. Is it this one? No. That's Silent Hill. I recognize that. That's definitely Silent Hill. What's this one? Oh no, that's specifically Silent Hill. Which Silent Hill is that? It's one in the building. Wait, does anyone remember which the Silent Hill is, where you're trapped in like your apartment building and there's like a hole in the wall? It's that one. That's the one I'm seeing images of, but I don't remember which Silent Hill that is. It's the Silent Hill where your music cuts out and ends abruptly. Yeah. Oh dear. Which old consoles do you have? I, myself, none. Most of them are with my parents, so I don't have any of it. Pat, welcome on in. I hope you're doing well. Good morning. Yeah, no, I don't have any of them. So I'd have to buy them again if I wanted them. They're all with my family. The problem of having parents who also play games is that they will hoard your consoles and your games. Forbidden Siren partly set in a school? Maybe! Let's have a look at Siren. Siren game. Ooh! I think this is it. I think you found it. This is the one. This is the one that I'm thinking of. Yeah. Yeah, this is it. Siren. Yep. Thank you. You got it. I'm probably misremembering it, to be honest, but this is the one that I was thinking of. Yes. That looks. You got it. Yay. Thank you. Oh dear. Carmageddon is a fun game, but not dog friendly. Oh dear. Just had to be a bit. Oh, lovely. I hope you had a good dinner. Good morning. I haven't played Siren myself, but a friend likes that game. Okay. Yeah, that was one of the ones. Yeah, now that I'm looking at like the pictures, I'm like, this is it. This is the one I was thinking of. Yeah, so that's Siren, Haunting Ground, Rule of Rose, and Clock Tower, and then it was also Resident Evil, probably 2. Silent Hill, probably 2. Oh dear. 4's the one with the hole in the wall. That's yes. I don't think I played the one with the hole in the wall, but I think I know someone who's played that one, but I don't think I played it myself. But yeah, the hole in the wall one I remember a lot of imagery from because I sat down and just watched them play it. You ever just sit down and watch your friends play single player games? Because I did. Oh dear. Have you heard of Outlast? I know Outlast. Outlast is one that I won't play on stream because I've played it. I've played it with friends back in college, I want to say. So it's like, I don't want to give someone, unless it's like specifically going for nostalgia, like with when we did Final Fantasy IX, I don't tend to replay games on stream unless I'm speedrunning them, because otherwise it feels like I'll be given the reaction of someone who's been playing it a second time, and I do think with a lot of horror games, the first experience with it is the most impactful. Yeah, Outlast I'm aware of, but it's not one that I'll be playing on stream because I have played it. I'm there, I've done it. That's why it's never been in like the running of like playing a horror game. I just don't think it'd be as good of an experience for anyone watching. I would require some unofficial patches to get the PC running, but Call of Cthulhu, Dark Call of... Oh, okay. I mean, I know Call of Cthulhu, but I know it as a tabletop RPG. I don't know it as a game like this. Ooh, from 2005-ish. There's some good screenshots. There's some very funny little like, ooh. Why he look like that? Why does he look like that? Ooh, okay. Oh, this is interesting. Okay. I'd add that to a list. Oh, can you buy this game? Once again, let me just see. Is this a collector's item? No, this is actually okay. So I could get the, Oh, is it on Steam? Oh, it is. Weird. Cool. It does make it easier to get. Oh dear. Based on Shadow over Innsmouth, short story by Lovecraft. Ah, okay. That's kind of cool. Yeah, the only Call of Cthulhu that I know is a tabletop game. Yeah, that's pretty sick. I know there are other stuff with Cthulhu, but that's the only one that I do. I know I do this a lot. I'm very excited. Please look at Discord. Okay, 2 seconds. Let me get my needle on the other side. What we doing? Oh, that looks so cool. It's so neat as well. Oh my god. That looks heckin' sick, Cthulhu. Hell yeah. Very cool. Oh dear. What time? Okay, I was like, my stomach was feeling like a little hungry, and it's like, okay, it is later than I thought it was. Time flies when you're talking about old 2000s and 1990s video games, right, guys? Right, guys? Am I right, fellow gamers? Yeah, I just thought it'd be fun to do some, like, slightly... Oh, tentacle. Hell yeah. Tentacle. So heckin' hype right now! Yee! As you should be. Yeah, I thought that'd be a fun thing we might do in the month of Halloween-ish, or around that. Call of Cthulhu is very cheap. It does look really cheap. A horror board game I recommend is called Gloom. I recognize that. That's ringing a bell. Have I played Gloom? I don't own it. I know we do own some board games that I'm not aware of, but I don't think we own Gloom. I feel like I might have played this at a board game cafe. Yeah, I think I've played this, but I don't own it for sure. And that being said, it's not too expensive to own, so I could actually purchase that if I wanted it. I don't remember though. The thing is, I enjoy everything I play at a board game cafe because I'm playing with friends, and I feel like every game is more fun like that. You have the Cthulhu version, nice. Rabbit holes suck time, like rabbit holes suck time. I like that. Give me a tattoo that just says rabbit holes suck time. Like it was going out of style, true. But yeah, I really like older horror games. I mean, I think a lot of people here already know that I have a bit of a fascination with horror. I do like horror. I like horror games more than I like horror films because I think you just get so much more invested in a game when you're forcing the character to make those decisions. So as much as I'm a very, very jumpy person, like genuinely, insanely jumpy, I really still like them. I love horror games even though I'm jumpy. I have a really good time with them. And I do like some of the stories and themes in some of these older games. I'm kind of the same opinion of a lot of people in that, like, horror games recently, at least, like, big company horror games, because the indie horror scene is still pretty alive and active, to be honest, but, like, the more, like, AAA kind of horror scene has been pretty lackluster recently. Although we do have some interesting stuff on the horizon with the Silent Hill remake and new game. So maybe we'll have like a bit of a renaissance of horror, but like it feels just like there isn't as much from proper big game developers as far as horror goes at the moment. I need to play Resident Evil 8 at some point, and I will. But like Resident Evil 7, for me, that's been the most recent game that I've played that's horror. And then before that was Alien. Soma, I do need to do at some point. Is Soma an indie studio or is Soma like a AAA? I can't remember. I feel like that might be a bit bigger, but yeah, it just feels like there's a little bit less than there used to be. Oh dear. I also, the themes of some of the horror games feel very samey these days. Like we're going back in the day, we're talking about like pregnancy as a horror. I guess I think there was something like that in 8, but pregnancy and stalkers and like children as a main theme, and like these are really cool and interesting and a bit different, and I don't think they're always executed the best, but like they're different. Whereas now it's like, it's very like the samey. I don't know. Maybe that's just me complaining. I did really like 7. 7 was great. I'm sure that I will probably enjoy 8. I'm just a bit nervous to play it in case it doesn't live up to my expectations because they're very high. But I'm sure I will like it. If you have a fear of heights, only up might be considered a horror game. I have a fear of confined space more than I would say heights. Like if we're looking at general overarching fears, confined spaces is probably more up my alley than heights. Yeah, like for instance, I'm not afraid of heights, but I am afraid of airplanes. Not because they go up high, but because you can't get out. Yeah, like that's kind of more where my fears come from. And also I always get really ill on airplanes, which doesn't help. Tiny ear canals. What's on the recent game showcase? A lot of horror-like games just seem to be Dark Souls-like clones. I mean, and I'll be honest, like it was kind of like that back in the 2000s as well. It was all survival horror, so every survival horror was very similar, and some were just better than others. But yeah, yeah, Soma is by Frictional, same game studio as Amnesia, indie-ish, I guess. Yeah, like Amnesia created waves because it's different. Like Amnesia wasn't like, you didn't get a gun, as far as I remember. You just had to hide. I don't think I always enjoy games where you're only hiding as well, but like, it was a different mechanic when it came out, and it worked pretty well. And yes, you do have hiding in like Haunting Ground and stuff like that, but I don't know. Skydiving suggests otherwise. You can't get out. True. Yeah, I don't have so much of a fear of heights or falling, but I really don't like confined spaces. I would say that would be more my, especially confined spaces with a lot of other people. Like that would be like crowd in a confined space would probably be up there closest to a phobia. I wouldn't say that I have an actual phobia of it. I just very much don't like it. So yeah, I guess a horror game when a horror game where you're trapped with a lot of people somewhere, maybe high up or low down. Yeah. Oh dear. Actually, taking part in the convo, I'm not a fan of horror games. I get bored or there are themes that trigger me. TV and film, it's gore. Bored, if it's psychological, love it. Recently watched The Haunting of Hill House, and the other one they did, and they were just beautiful because it wasn't what you expected. Yeah. My favorite horror film is The Darkness Because No One Survives. I think, I kind of get that. I'm not against gore, to be honest, and I think gore can add a lot to a horror scenario, but I will say like the Final Destinations, for instance, where it's just like a gore to the next gore to the next gore. I don't mind it. It's not for me. I'm not scared by Final Destination, and I don't find it particularly exciting because you know, it's just that. But if that is a film that you like, if that's a franchise you like, fair. I think gore can add, but I don't like it when it's just gore. When it's just gore, I'm like, I don't know. Gore is fine, but if that's exactly, yeah. I don't mind there being gore, but there has to be something else as well, for me personally. Spoiler alert. Oh yeah, that might be kind of a spoiler. I'll delete it just in case. There you go. I find stealth with combat scarier than pure stealth with no members because because you mess up, you need to defend yourself. The same. Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that's why I liked Alien so much, because although at the beginning you're hiding a lot, or I was hiding a lot, you get weapons as the game goes on, and as long as you conserve ammo, it's pretty good. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot about Alien in particular. That was really fun. Is that you can defend yourself. You just ideally don't because you waste ammo. The only thing with games like that is some of the fear sometimes can be lost for sake of conserving ammo and doing all of that kind of stuff. You lose some of the fear because you're so focused on doing, or like if you die over and over again. Like I remember there was a part in Alien where I'd saved it in a place where he kept spawning right in front of me, and it took like a lot to like find a way to get around him in a way that wasn't going to get me killed. And I did that same part so many times that I just wasn't afraid of him after that, and it did take some of the fear away from the main alien, just because there were areas where you'd get stuck, and that being stuck overrides the feeling of fear. Frustration overriding the feeling of fear. Yeah. That's why I think personally I preferred Resident Evil 7, because you could fight back. Again, it wasn't recommended, and there were times where I sunk all of my ammo into someone not realizing they couldn't die. But yeah, at the very least, like, it changed it up enough that even if I stopped being afraid of one character, well, there's another character, you know? I think as well the different characters kind of hit different points of what you were afraid of. Yeah. I don't know. I think that was good. I think that's why I preferred 7 over Alien eventually, even though I think Alien had really, really good suspense. Like, you never wanted to climb an event. Even after the fear had kind of lost, the vents were still terrifying. And yeah, I think they did keep that, but yeah. And it's unlikely that I've always thought, so I won't remember it. Yeah, you're all good. Oh dear. It's not a Kevin, damn it. Well, now I've lost, no Kevin Bacon. Also, Anime, good morning. I hope you're doing well. Welcome on in. We're actually having a bit of a discussion on horror right now, Anime. We're talking about horror games, things we like, things we dislike in horror games. I do think, yeah, there's a balance to be drawn between survival and hiding, I think. From what I've heard is that Resident Evil 8 handles itself in a very similar way to Resident Evil 7, in that you have different enemies in different parts of the game, so it does change up the gameplay a little bit. Again, I haven't played 8 and I am trying to avoid major spoilers for it. I know what most of the characters look like because I'm a cosplayer and I've seen them everywhere, but I'm trying to avoid the story beats, if that makes sense. But from what I've heard, yes. Yeah. You've got a kind of a similar setup, which I am excited for because I really liked that setup in 7. That worked really well for me. I think the wife was the one, no, the granny was the one I was most afraid of. Granny did nothing, and I was so terrified of Granny every time Granny was on screen. I think it's because I think having a character like that does nothing really worked on me. Because I don't think I found any of the villains as scary as I found the grandma, who literally does nothing. Who just sits in the chair. Yeah, I was terrified of that grandma. So scared. Everyone else I was alright with, but Granny, Granny was scary. Oh dear. Oh, it's got Anna Penguin. Oh, yum, that's what I thought. Nice. Oh dear. Love me some horror game. I love me some horror game too. I don't know. I feel like I always feel a lot more relaxed. It's like whenever I'd finish those streams for playing horror games, I'd feel a bit tired from streaming it, but I'd also feel really, I don't know how you put it, like really awake and happy. Like when you finish a stream of a horror game, there's like this feeling of elation at the end of it. It's really nice. I don't know, it's a really good feeling. It makes streaming horror games really fun, to me at least. It's like, yeah, you have this like feeling of relief afterwards. Like you forget all of your stress while you're playing a horror game. Like anything that's stressing you out day to day, you forget about it for a few hours. And it's just like, it makes me feel much more relaxed afterwards than I was before. It's nice. I don't know what the feeling of that is, but it's good. Wolf Creek is a film that caused me some serious issues and I can never watch it again. Has any horror film... Okay. So, okay. Maybe give it a little bit of background here. But the first time I watched Paranormal Activity, I didn't find it specifically scary, but it was one that stuck with me. Because here's the thing. So I've had hallucinations since I was a child, but I have very specifically sleep hallucinations. So it's a sleep disorder rather than it being a mental disorder. They're just a little different. But I have, what they're called? The ones when you're falling asleep. I've literally forgotten the name of it. God damn it. That doesn't look very good, does it? But I've had them since I was a child. So I've had them since I was very, very young. One of the lines in Paranormal Activity is, when I was young, I used to see a figure at the end of my bed. Same. And then they die. And so when I watched it, I was like, is this going to be me? Oh, actually, do they die? I can't remember if they do, actually. Nasty things happen to them. I don't remember if they die. It's been a minute. The line that really stuck with me is, when I was a kid, I used to see a figure at the end of my bed. And me, having that same experience, yeah, I was like, wait a sec. Wait a sec. Me? But I think if you have an experience that matches up with something in a horror film, it makes it 10 times more scary. Because I don't think Paranormal Activity is a particularly scary film, to be quite honest. I've watched scarier, but I will say it stuck with me because I could relate to it so hard as someone who had that same experience as the person going through a horror situation. Oh dear. I also remember watching it with my parents being like, hey yo, that's like you, Jelly, and I'm like, oi oi oi. You're not wrong, but yes, it is like me. Oi, 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 oi. Oh god. Hypnagogic. That's what I have. Hypnagogic hallucinations. There we are. It took me a minute, but I got there. It just means, you know that feeling as you're falling out of bed as you fall asleep? It's like that, but it's a visual or audio hallucination. So rather than having the, I'm falling out of bed, it's like, there's something in the room with me, but it's that same thing as you fall asleep, because technically the feeling of you falling out of bed is also an hallucination. It's just people that have it like one step further, and that's me. Normally it's in line with some other condition like migraines. Yes, fun times, love it. So it's a symptom rather than a diagnosis, normally. But anyone can get them, like if you're particularly ill, you might get them. Yeah, or very, very stressed out, you might get them. And they're not anything to be concerned about, but obviously, when you're watching horror films as a kid and someone has that same symptom as you, you're like, guess I'll die then. Can't wait to see some horror games myself. Wait, what? We've been talking about horror games, so far, anime, the ones that I want to do are Haunting Ground, Rolliver's, Rose, Clock Tower, maybe a couple of Clock Towers, Silent Hill 2, maybe Silent Hill 4 now that I've talked about it. I know that it's no one's favorite, but I'm curious about it. And then, what else was there? There was Siren, there was another one that I was obscure maybe, because it looked like a fun survival horror. And obviously I do need to do Resident Evil 10. 10? 8. Not 10. 8. 10 isn't out yet. 8. And maybe 2. Maybe I'll do the 2 remake. Oh, so far the only movie I had zero to like say again is the first Dungeons & Dragons movie. Oh dear. Heck. Look, have a lovely look. Get some good Z's. Yeah, what games are you thinking? I'd love to know what other horror games people are interested in playing right now. I would love to play the Silent Hill F when it comes out, but I imagine it's going to be very expensive, so I probably won't be able to afford to play it on release. But at some point, I would like to play Silent Hill F. But I can get by playing like 2 and maybe 4 in the meantime, and maybe 3 if that's the one other people recommend. Oh dear. I guess kind of you want to play Silent Hill 1 though to set up for Silent Hill 2. Because I know they're different stories, but like, isn't a lot of the stuff in Silent Hill 1 kind of setting up for Silent Hill 2? I could be wrong, but I feel like you kind of want to do 1 and then 2, even though 1 isn't as good as 2, maybe? That's the vibe that I get, but I could be wrong. Oh dear, I'd like to play Little Miss Fortune! Yes! Oh, that'd be fun. Oh dear, I'm looking forward to Alan Wake 2. Alan Wake 2? Oh wait, yeah! That's a good call, Alan Wake. I don't think I've played that one. I'm Googling it, but I'm 99% sure I haven't. And I've heard only good things. Yeah, I haven't. Should I add that to the list? I'll add this one in there as well. Silent Hill 2 is fairly standard, but 3 is more of a sequel to 1. I mean, how long would it actually take me to get through 1, 2, 3, 4, do you think? Like, as someone who has a vague idea of the series already, I feel like maybe it can go for it a bit quicker, because even though I haven't played some of these games, I guess it depends on how good the combat is, because I know in some of these old survival horrors, the combat is like garbage and like actually painful to do. If the combat's bad, then yeah. The combat in the games is rough. Okay, so that's probably where I'm gonna get stuck then, is it'll just be hitboxes and glitchy old combat things. That is something that I do remember, maybe not the most fondly from some of these older games, is that the combat just sucks. and it makes a lot of older horror games that haven't been remastered so much less fun to play, because the hitboxes are crazy. You can get very much stuck, just like staggering in a lot of these old games. What I remember just staggering forever, and it does make it less fun. Dragoness, good morning. I hope you're doing well. Welcome on in. Alan Wake is very good. Okay, I'll add that one then to the list of ones I'd like to play. We're talking about horror games that we're excited for, or horror games we'd like to go back and play again right now. Oh, is it an upside? To me, yeah. Listen up. I did my best. I did my best. My poor flag has also got paint on it. You see all this? My poor flag. It's doing its bestest. Bit messy. I feel like Africa has a lot of horrifying mythology that Hollywood has never really made use of. Honestly, probably. A lot of mythology is terrifying. But like, if there's a gap in the market, you know, Australian bite. That's what I'm doing it for. I'm doing Australian bite. You know, I might be British, but we'll just pretend, right? I played the Alan Wake remastered recently and I liked it, although it's a bit combat heavy for my preference. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Exciting. Oh man, I love all these games. Not all of them because I haven't played all of them, but like a lot of these odd games, it's just the combat. I guess because a lot of them will have difficulty. I think Silent Hill has difficulty settings, doesn't it? I don't remember if Silent Hill 1 has difficulty, but I'm sure from 2 onwards they do at least. So I could just put it on an easy setting because I'm playing more for the story anyway. Although, unlike, I guess, the visual spectacle of some of the stuff that happens in Silent Hill, I will happily play on easy just to get through them a bit quicker if the combat sucks. Because I'm not there for the combat. I'm not there for like a specifically challenging experience. I'm there to soak in the atmosphere, you know? 2 has separate difficulty settings for combat and puzzles. Oh, so I could have like, because that's the other thing. I'd be happy to have difficult puzzles. I just don't want to deal with mid-2000s horror combat, to be honest. Like, I remember what that was like, and I feel like it'll feel even worse now that I've played better. So you could be big brain but small gun. That sounds good. You know what? Big brain, small gun? I like the sound of that. Can't you get a chainsaw in Silent Hill 2, or am I misremembering something? Couldn't you get like a chainsaw if you, I think maybe on your second playthrough, but like, and you could just boom everything. As for mythology, I got a children's book on Norse mythology for a kid once and decided he was a bit too young for the part being explained. Oh god. Yeah, mythology doesn't really hold back a lot. Unless you specifically get like a very much a kid-friendly version, it's not normally very kid-friendly. But it's cool and it works well in a horror scenario. You can, but I think it's a New Game Plus. Ah, okay, that's probably where I've seen GIFs, see? I haven't had it myself, but I've seen GIFs of them using a chainsaw, and I'm like, I feel like there's a chainsaw in this game. For there to be this many GIFs of it, it must exist. Oh dear. Yeah, no, I'm hyped to play some of these games. I just need to find a way that I can, again, not so much with Silent Hill. Silent Hill, I know there are ways that I'll be able to do it, but like, with some of the more, I don't want to say obscure because I don't feel like they are obscure games, but they're just the rare games, the ones like Haunting Ground, the ones like Rule of Rose, finding a way that I can play it which feels morally okay, while maybe having to have them emulated. Because actually, you know what I'd be curious about? Does Rule of Rose have a category on Twitch? Because no way you're capturing that, sorry. The only way you're playing Rule of Rose, it does have a category. Like, no way you playing that, sorry, like, via actually owning and playing the game. Like, you can really only emulate that game. So if Twitch has a category, they must be at least semi-aware that people are emulating games, and not for, like, pirating reasons, but just because you can't do it otherwise. No way are people playing that actually on PS2, with that being that rare. I remember having a lot of fun when you played Alien Isolation, or should I say Vent Inspector the game. Ugh. I love horror. I love horror a lot. I really enjoy horror games. I enjoy the feeling you get during and afterwards. I like the adrenaline rush. I like having to push yourself through horrible situations like climbing in vents, like getting out of the cupboard, all that kind of thing. I love it. But I like some of the stories they tell on these older games. The more psychological based ones I think are really interesting. Like, you know, Silent Hill is a great example of that because they're all pretty psychological. Oh, man. Because isn't it is Silent Hill, right? Where the enemies are meant to be physical representations of the character's trauma. Although I do hear in some of the later games this gets a bit blurred and it's not always the best. Oh, that's the one that I remember. Sorry, talking about nasty combat. I remember something about the fourth game. It is the fourth game, the one with the hole in the wall. Isn't the combat in that one absolutely awful, if memory serves? And like you have ghosts. I remember something about ghosts, and you can't kill the ghosts, and they're just respawning and they trap you in small areas and you are just getting beaten to death with ghosts. I remember, like, I could be misremembering stuff because it's been a minute, but I definitely remember stuff like about the one with the holes in the wall with some of the imagery, but mainly a lot of what I remember is the trash combat in that game. Oh, and I'm pretty, yeah. Ghosts haunt your apartment later in the game. Yeah, I remember them being nightmarish. I don't think I was playing it myself though, so I think I was either watching a playthrough or watching a friend play it, or maybe it was my family. Maybe it was my family playing it, but I don't think so. Oh dear. Twitch has no problem with using emulators. AGQ. So it technically Twitch doesn't do anything about you using emulators, but Twitch actually does have it in the terms and conditions that you're not really meant to. Because we were talking about it earlier, and that like it like there are some actual rules where it's basically like don't emulate games, but obviously people do. And yeah, speedrunning was brought up then as well when we were talking about it. It's like, yes, obviously a lot of speedrunners do use emulators to speedrun games, and they broadcast front page on Twitch. So I guess the thing would be is it is technically against the rules, so Twitch could use it to ban you if they didn't like you. It's just normally not one that they act on, so I guess technically it'd be fine, but also like I don't want to get on the wrong side of Twitch, to be honest, by doing something. And also, this is the other bit of it. I actually do want to financially support these games. I know they're old games, but like I do like to own copies of things like that when I really enjoy them. Like I would love to own a copy of Haunting Ground. I would love to own a copy of Rule of Rose, but I'm paying hundreds of quid to do that. So that's like endgame me, not current me. Oh dear, and the third person combat isn't great either. Yeah, the game that freaks me out is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. Ooh. Oh, I don't know if I should play that one then. As a person who experiences psychosis, maybe that's not the best call, but I am curious. Oh, it's this one. I know, yeah, I am aware of this game. People have said that, yeah, from a mental health point of view, that this is actually a really good representation. I have actually, yeah, I've heard about this game. I've heard about how good it's meant to be. I just don't know that I'd play it myself. Yeah. And that, like, you know, sometimes things hit just a little too close to home. I probably would struggle. It's the same reason I haven't played another game. There's a game called Amori that's a horror-esque game that I really would like to play, but they also have hypnagogic hallucinations. They have it the whole way through the film, caused by trauma. And it's like, that's too close to home. When you're literally emulating a condition that I have, it's just a bit too... You know? It's like, I would like to play it. I actually own the game, that's how much I want to play it, but I'm also looking at it like, I don't know if I'm mentally prepared to watch someone have the same experience that I have, like a lot of the time. It's like, I don't know. It's difficult. I guess it's a horror that would hit home for me, maybe a lot harder than it would hit home for everyone else watching, and that feels like a little bit awkward. So maybe a game that I'd play in my own time, but not a game that I play on stream. Like, I don't know that I'd want people to watch me reliving my own experiences for a video game, you know? Feels a bit too private. Oh dear, especially on the VR version. Oh god. You could watch a playthrough. I could watch a playthrough. Oh dear. Yeah. Hello, Cicada. Hello, I hope you're doing well. Cicada, guess who's playing Apex at some point? I actually need to organize it, but yeah, I'll be doing some Apex streaming soon. Whoa. Sorry, not a horror game, but actually might be a horror game when I play it, because we hit that barrier in our charity stream, which means that I'm doing Apex now. I'm actually an Apex streamer. Nobody knew it, but I am. Surprise. Oh dear, dark room bloody makeup of a cat who chose her timing to suddenly start start running. Oh god. Of course, yeah, if you have animals in the house, oh my god, yeah, that would, oh my, cats as well. I feel like it's on purpose. Your cats are spooking you. Because you know what, hell yeah. I'd do it too. If I were a cat, I'd wait until my human was playing a horror game just to be like, Burr! Are you getting some help? I might be. I don't want to spoil too much just yet, but I might be getting a little bit of assistance. Yes, potentially. Because I've never played Apex before. I've just downloaded the game for the first time. I might need to do a tutorial quickly before I go live on stream, so I will double check that because I don't remember if I saw that Apex had a tutorial or not. I don't want to do the tutorial on stream. That's a bit boring. But yeah. I might be getting some assistance. Who knows? It just pretty much made me stop because she was afraid of the effect the game was having on me. Oh dear. Yeah, I know Shiny can always hear me when I'm playing horror games because I go very quiet. Like, it's a psychological thing of like, you don't want them to hear you, so you're quiet even though you're not in the game. So like, there'll be many moments when I'm hiding in a locker and I'm dead silent and then suddenly I'll scream. So Shiny's like, oh yep, silence, silence, and there's the screaming. Oh, silence again, lots of silence, and there's the screaming. It's all triggered by the scary sounds. Oh yeah, that's a good reason to not play a game then. If it's like upsetting your partner, I will say it doesn't upset my partner. My partner just knows when I'm playing horror games. They can hear me. They can hear me like, ah! Every now and again. Oh dear. To be fair, I don't really scream. I make noises most of the time, right? I think I'm more down the line of like kind of noises rather than actual screaming. I know I did a really good rewinding VHS tape once. Because somebody clipped it. I remember seeing it afterwards and being like, it does sound like a VHS tape rewinding. Crazy. Oh dear. Oh, she made the scary sounds to scare you, I see. I can't do horror games. But most I've done is 10 minutes of Until Dawn. Oh yeah, okay, I can see that. You're fine, Zero. Enjoy the rest of your day. You're all good. I mean, I am, as you can see, working very, very hard. To be fair, I got the first bit of this done. It's looking pretty good. I've got a lot more to go, but we're getting there. I'm gonna have a drink of my water really quickly, though. Alice Shatterall! Good morning. You need breakfast? But imagine all the delicious foods you can have when you eat your breakfast. Is there a food horror game? I'm gonna type food horror game and see if there's a horror game featured around food. Oh, that's kind of just. I mean, that's gory horror though. I guess that makes sense. The table scene in Resident Evil 7 was very nice. I did enjoy that scene. Oh dear. Oh, they're like angry croissant. Nice. Food for pigs is what I'm saying. Tasty ramen. That doesn't look like a horror game. Oh dear. All right, maybe not so much. I looked. I can't see. I need to get rid of some of these tabs as well because my poor computer's gonna be like, Krr. Little Nightmares. Oh, is Little Nightmares got food in it? Oh, Little Nightmares. I want to play it. It was on the list of games that I could have played, but we are actually gonna be playing the Mortuary Assistant. So the Mortuary Assistant was the one that won the poll with the charity event. The Mortuary Assistant will probably be the last one we do, just because Shiny advised me that there's going to be the Steam summer sale soon and that I might be able to pick it up for a bit cheaper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Apex stream and the dress design stream. We'll do those a bit sooner, wait a couple weeks, and then maybe do the Mortuary Assistant just until I can see if it's gone into sale or not, because, yeah, if I wait a couple weeks, it might be half price. Who knows? Oh, dear. No, imagine delicious food. I'm on a diet. Oh, you would have hated the first half of this stream then. We've gone from talking purely about food to talking about old horror games. Oh, dear. Little Nightmares is about starvation, is it? All right, not too many spoilers here because I actually haven't played Little Nightmares and I would like to play it myself, so make sure no one's spoiling it, but that is an interesting concept. Makes sense, it saves money, yeah, exactly. I figured we've got a few special streams to do, so I'll do the other two first and then we'll do that one after we find out if it's in the sale. If not, I will just buy it. I think it's only about 20 quid. It just makes sense if I can get it half price to get it half price. So, yeah, we'll see. I can't spoil the game, I haven't played it yet. I will play that one day because I have heard really good things about it. I think there's the sequel as well, right? Which is meant to be really good too. Oh dear. I know one of my friends played it and insisted on calling the character Bruce. 24-hour placid plastic duck stream? You want that? I mean, I have the game. I have the extensions as well. I could. I don't feel like it'd be that exciting. I know that wasn't her name. Bruce is a very strong name, though. Strong name for a main character. I like Bruce. Oh, dear. Trying to go with the pun about food games and spoiling. But failing. No! A spoiled food game. Oh, dear. Ooh. I mean, the food in Resident Evil 7 was definitely spoiled. Like, crawling around the plate. Jesus. Oh, no! A bad knot! Can I fix it? Or no? No, I think no. So what I'll do is, instead of trying to fix it normally, I'll tie a knot in the knot, and then I'll trim it. And that way I don't have to remake this bit. Not that it takes very long. Actually, no, it takes a really long time, because you know what? It's taken us 3 hours to get to this point, so if I say that it doesn't take very long, it makes it seem like I've been lazy, and I kind of have, because I've been chatting about horror games, but still, I don't want it to come across that I've been lazy. I've been trying. I want to do a Lady Dimitrescu. Yes! Lady Dimitrescu. That's one of the only things I know about 8. I've been trying really hard not to get spoiled on Resident Evil 8, because it's a franchise I like, but obviously I'm a cosplayer. I see Lady Dimitrescu everywhere, and I love her. Oh dear. Very, very, very cool. Very pretty. I also want to, you know what, I think everyone wants to be Lady, like, show me a person who doesn't even want to be Lady Dimitrescu, be with Lady Dimitrescu, be in Lady Dimitrescu's gang. I'll be near her. I'll be on her side. I'll switch sides for her. I know her bum has more pixels than the dirt. Is that really true? Oh my god. Honestly, she's worth it. She's worth those pixels. So I need a 195, so I need, oh my god, yeah, you're gonna be there, hell yeah. Yeah, I would need to add, like, a lot. I think I'd need, like, a leg extension operation to get the proper height. I think I have the proportions just much shorter is the problem. So maybe I can just use some good photography to make it look like I'm that tall. We did good photography the other day. We made my legs look like they were, like, a mile long. I have tiny legs. I have teeny tiny legs. Long body, short legs. But we did some photography tricks the other day and it made my legs look incredibly long. I love those pictures. I'm keeping them forever. The pictures where I have fake long legs. Hell yeah. 10 out of 10. Would recommend. I'm gonna walk around towering over the mere humans. Very nice. Oh dear. Oh. That's a better knot right there. Yeah, I love Dimitrescu's outfit. It's just a really nice, classic, good-looking dress as well. Like, just aside from the fact that she's so tall, her outfit is actually just really nice. It's just like, it looks like it'd be a comfortable outfit to wear around a convention. And like, you know, relatively chill, but very classy. It's just such a good outfit. She looks so good. She looks so good. I love her. I love everyone who's cosplayed as her. I love them. They're great. Oh dear. Doesn't she have like a really nice hat as well, or am I imagining that? Dimitrescu. Yes, she has. She got the really big hat. Also, what is on my finger? Is it my finger? No, there is something on that. Okay. Yeah. Oh my god, it's such a nice dress. Oh, god, it's just so good. It's just such a good dress. Like the gathering, so nice. The bit around the arms, like the detailing on the edges, so nice. It's just such a good dress. With the big hat, my god. And the gloves is, oh. And like it she's just so good. It's just so good. God, how dare you be so well dressed? There's a lot of memes about everyone like wanting to be picked up by her or stepped on by her and stuff like that as well, which is kind of hilarious. Oh my god. They did her good with the angles as well from the actual game footage too. Like, they did her good. Oh god. I love her. I love her. Shoot. There's no way I can ever be with Lady Dimitrescu, however. I think I recently confirmed that Lady D is lesbian. Yeah, I was seeing some pride flags. I don't know if she is or if her voice actress. No, it's actually just her becoming a queer icon. I think it's because regardless of gender, you just kind of do love her. Like she, I feel like she's the awakening for a lot of people. Ah, dear. Very much into the Rory's 20s fashion. I have several flapper dresses and hers sort of fits into that. Yeah, it's just so good. It's classic. It fits her very well in particular. The gathering is lovely. The hat as well, obviously, and the gloves and everything. All the accessories go really well with her. It's just an incredibly classy, classic outfit. I love it. She looks great. Oh dear. Also, it's the ducking through doorways as well. So ducking through doorways for me, I love that. The little clips of her like ducking through a doorway. I'm so sold. I'm so sold. I love her. Oh dear, because I think how hard to do that, I'm not surprised. That fits for me. I'm an LGBT group. Yeah. What does gathering mean in this context? The gathering of the fabric at the front and around the side. So it's like the fabric, the way that it's been attached and sewn, so that you have the gathering underneath the bust that kind of cinches in the waist. Yeah, that folds. Yeah. The way that it is folding. And the voice actor is, but I think an RE director basically confirmed they're also queer. There you go. Plays Magic the Gathering against you in combat. Oh my god. I love her. I love her so much. God. She's great. I think it's also the fact that she looks a little bit older. Like, I mean, just me? Like, the fact that she looks like, I guess she kind of hits that, like, MILF kind of bracket as well, which I also think helps. Just the fact that she doesn't appear quite so young. Like, she appears older, more put together. Like, she is above you. She is above me. She's above everyone. And, like, I think having that slight age, yeah, it really works. I think it adds a lot. I don't know. This is becoming a Lady Dimitrescu appreciation stream. While trying to avoid as many spoilers from Resident Evil 8 as possible. Please do not. Please, if you know something about her that it is a spoiler, please don't put that in chat, even if I love her more for it. Yes. No spoilers. Only Lady Dimitrescu unspoiler love. Please remember. Oh, did you say something? Oh, okay, yeah. I'll delete those. Sorry. Yeah, please don't spoil it. I haven't played the game, so yeah, please do not spoil any of the story beats. And also, I'm sure there are other people that haven't played it as well. It's an expensive game. They're too fast with the warning. I see. You probably posted it right as I was saying it, right? Hell yeah, that's always the way. But yeah, no, I love her. I love everyone who's cosplayed her as well. Everyone who's cosplayed her, thank you. Thank you for the gift. Yeah. I knew she had. I know she had daughters, to be fair, because they're in a lot of the pictures with her. But yeah. Oh, she's so pretty. She's just so pretty. I love that you're looking up at her so much as well. I love that. They already played it. No, I've just seen a lot of Lady Dimitrescu. Like, I think that's a lot of people's takeaway though. If you've like attempted to avoid spoilers for RE8 like me, is it mainly just Lady Dimitrescu that you see everywhere? Because like I've avoided most of the story beats, thankfully. But I have not avoided Lady Dimitrescu. I don't think you can avoid Lady Dimitrescu. I think she is everywhere. She was definitely everywhere when the game released. Dear. I think you can avoid mainly the game spoilers, but not Lady Dimitrescu. I'm ordering stilts. I'm doing her for con this feel good. Honestly, I would love to cosplay her as well, but I just have so much to do. But man, I love her. I don't know if I want to cosplay her or if I want to date her. It's a difficult in the between. Maybe both. Maybe I could do both. I could be her and date her. You've seen a lot of her? I have seen a lot of her, to be honest. Oh dear. There's been a lot of images on Twitter of her in various things. There's a comic I occasionally see on Twitter, and it's Lady D and her girls adopting the MC and treating him like a cat. Aww. Can I spoil some gameplay? Can I spoil some gameplay? I would rather you didn't spoil anything, if that's okay. No spoilers, because I actually want to play the game. So I'd rather 0 spoilers, please. And if any mods do see spoilers, you can just delete them. That's all good. We're keeping it spoiler free because it's a game that I want to enjoy to its fullest. I think I have been spoiled of Lady Dimitrescu being a character, but I don't know too much about it other than she's hot. I've seen some clips of her being hot. I've seen some gifs of her going through doorways and looking hot. That's about all I know. But as far as I'm aware, that's like the whole game, right? That's the whole game. Oh dear. Oh yeah, mainly just she's very hot. I mean, I want to cosplay her and sort of date her. Oh dear. All right, it's just something really cool. But that's great. But don't spoil people. Sorry, anime. I really don't want spoilers of this game because I really want to enjoy it. I understand there are probably some really cool things, but please no spoil. Oh dear. I won't say because it stays cool. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're on the same wavelength as me. Hell yeah. I like the picture of Lady Dimitrescu. Is this a cosplayer that's been caught at McDonald's? Like a cosplayer that's like gone to McDonald's after a convention? Because those are some of the best holiday, some of the best con shots. Donald's. I want to see it too. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, it's a drawing. Yeah, I see it. Lady Dimitrescu goes to McDonald's. All right, I'm gonna close this now just in case, because although I will say 90% of the fan art is probably not spoilers, there's probably some in there that I'm not seeing, and I want to go. That is like one of the few games that I want to go in blind to. Most of the time I don't care too much, but I think horror games, when they get spoiled, they do lose a lot of their pizzazz, unfortunately. Dear. Like I went into Resident Evil 7 completely blind somehow. I got really lucky not to be spoiled on that game because there is a lot of stuff about that game out there. I was super lucky to go in actually entirely blind, and I think it's just a lot more fun as a playthrough, and I had a really good time. I think I wouldn't have had so much of a good time with 7 if I had been spoiled on any of the elements, because I went in not knowing anything. Like I was entirely blind about every element of the story. I had some previous, the only thing that I knew were like from previous Resident Evil, and 7 doesn't really capitalize on a lot of its previous stuff, like especially with previous characters and all that, like Leon and Ada and all that. Like it doesn't have any of that. So the only stuff that I would have maybe already knew was not in this game. And yeah, I had such a good time being completely blind with it. Oh dear. Oh, take care, Sammy. Thank you for popping by. Good luck with work. I hope that it goes well. I think I'm just going to spend a whole day talking about horror games. God damn. Yeah, I do think going in blind is the way to go with horror games. As long as you are aware of trigger warnings. I do think that's one thing, is like double checking to see if there's anything that will be hard for you, because obviously a lot of horror games do capitalize off upsetting you, and if it's something that's going to be too much, you know. Yeah, I mean, I always try and include trigger warnings on the streams. Like for the Corpse Party one, we had violence against children, because the entire cast are children, and obviously there are some relatively gruesome things that happen. It's a horror game. I should have honestly put a fluid warning, like piss warning. Spoilers for Corpse Party, we did play it on stream. Do you remember the whole chapter that was literally ruined by them taking your sister to the toilet? Remember that? Remember when you have to replay the whole chapter from scratch because you took your sister to the toilet because she asked to go? You remember that? When there's no warning prior in the game to say, like, whatever you do, don't let your sister go to the toilet, don't let her use these bathrooms, because if you do, you get the bad ending. Remember I had to replay an entire chapter because in the first 2 minutes I took my sister to the toilet? I remember that. I also remember the third chapter where the entire chapter consists of finding a place for your sister to go to the toilet, and then in the end she just wets herself, and she talks about wetting herself, and it's really weird. It's really weird, and it's very piss orientated. A lot more. When I went into Corpse Party, I was not expecting there to be quite so much piss, and that seems to be like a general consensus of like there's a lot of piss in Corpse Party, and it feels pretty unnecessary. I don't know. I don't know why the driving force of so much of it was the toilet. Why? Pepper Ridge Farm remembers, we remember. Oh god, it was very much piss party. I'm glad that I'm not the only one though, because I've listened to other people talking about it since, and they're like, yeah, there's a lot of piss in that game. It's like, there was an uncomfortable amount of piss in that game, and not like in a horror way. It almost felt like a fetish thing. Is that too far to say? Like, it felt almost like there was a motive, right? You know, behind it. I don't know if that's too far, but like it felt like there was a motive behind having these characters always need the toilet or always wetting themselves and having it be such a major plot point and like consistently not letting them go to the toilet over and over again. Like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm reading into it too much, but it felt like something. It felt like a bit of something. It was absolutely a fetish thing. It was a bit weird. Yeah. Like, it distracted from some of the horror, I think, of the game, to be honest, from my perspective. Because I think the setting of that game is actually terrifying. Like, I think it's a really good horror setting, and I think the art does it well. Like, I think, you know, the reading all the horrible things around the school does it really well. Like, it does add to the horror. But then the chapter 3 in particular, because chapter 1 and 2 were fine, but chapter 3 really, yeah, after that point, it was just like a point of like just consistently having your characters not go to the toilet. Also, one of the characters gets their period, and it's never touched on again, but it's talked that she's got blood coming down her skirt, and you can see it. And then it's never mentioned again. Like, it's not a plot point. It's not like it makes this, you can smell the blood and so like enemies are attracted to her. It's just done for like a fluid thing almost. I don't know, man. It's a bit weird. It's a lot worse when you realize that they're children. Yeah. It was uncomfortable. That bit, I think, yeah, was a little uncomfortable having them as kids, just needing, like, yeah, that's like the one bit, unfortunately, that's really stuck with me, because honestly, the horror of Corpse Party is really good in my mind. It's very much being trapped in somewhere, which works well for me. The like visuals and the stuff that you're reading is pretty horrifying the whole way through, and the death sequences are quite scary. You know, I do think there's a lot of positive there. It's just a shame that there's just so much piss, because yeah, it really did. It took me out of it quite a few times when I was playing it. It took me out of it. Oh dear. Yeah, I mean, I think I like horror as a what do you call it? The horror genre. I like the horror genre. I do think some games achieve it better than others. I think you can see how Corpse Party has influenced a lot of other games, and how, you know, in the genre of RPG style horror, it was a huge influence to a lot of later games that maybe did it slightly better. And so I think it's worth to like mention that in regards to Corpse Party. But I also think that there is some weird stuff in the Corpse Party franchise that was not so much for me. I think you can do fetishes in a horror game and make it scary. I don't think Corpse Party did that, to be honest. I think you can do it, but I don't think that's a good example of like using a fetish in a horror scenario. If anything, I would say Haunting Ground does that better, of using maybe more fetishy sexual stuff, but making it terrifying and having it as part of the plot point, you know? Not just having it there. I mean, there is maybe an argument to be made by Haunting Party that it definitely still falls under the idea of, I'm gonna put it under the male gaze kind of thing, but I do think that it works for the story it's telling, because she is under the male gaze the entire way through the story. So like, yes, she is hypersexualized at points, and that's part of the horror, is that she is stuck in that situation. And it kind of works. I think you can do it well. I don't think Corpse Party did it well. I think Corpse Party was meant to do it. For good fetish horror, some Silent Hill enemies. Yeah, Silent Hill enemies. Actually, that's a very good point. The nurses, honestly, even Pyramid. Like, yeah, you're not wrong. In that, like, because yeah, it's fantasies, but also like dark repressed things creating creatures. That's a very good point. Silent Hill does do that very, very well. Good call on the Silent Hill enemies. Not all of them though, right? Some Silent Hill games I think do it better than others. But yes, that sort of stuff. This is the thing, games can do it well. So like, and I feel like they must have been coming out around the same time as Corpse Party. So I don't think there's really a good excuse to have got it quite that wrong, other than that you wanted to add that to your story for your personal gain, which is kind of how it comes off. Whereas in Haunting Ground and Silent Hill, it feels like something that adds to the lore of the story, or adds to the horror. Yeah, I think it should be like that. I'm gonna police your horror games now. That's how it should be. They're doing it right. Everyone else doing it wrong. Those games, though, they get it. Oh, dear. Trying to think of other games that take that kind of psychological... Because it's kind of like horror that could also, like, I don't want to say sexual horror. That's not quite the right term. But I guess, like, more fetishized horror, kind of, but in a scary way. Does anything do it quite as well as that? Make your monsters terrifying and sexy. Okay. Oh, I know. I'm trying to remember. I feel like there are some quite intense scenes, aren't they? But, like, I guess, again, it would be a pretty big trigger warning for, like, assault, because I feel like a lot of it does lean into that kind of, like, non-consensual kind of horror. So I feel like it's that, like, that in... It's kind of like that in Silent Hill, and it's definitely like that in Haunting Ground. It's interesting, and it's different, and I think it can work. I do think it won't be a theme for everyone. Yeah. Also, Teaser, thank you for the hydrate. Let me get a little stitch in here to stick it in place, and then I will in fact hydrate on some ginger water. Very strong, very delicious. Oh dear. We're talking about psychological horror in video games and where it works and where it doesn't. Ooh. Oh. So I've got like a ginger syrup, but it's not like a syrup because it's not sweet, I guess, but it's like a ginger liquid in my, it's like ginger squash, but it's not sweet, it's just ginger. And so it like hits the back of your throat, you're like, oh, I'm very awake now, thank you for the ginger. It's nice, I like it a lot. Oh dear. I don't just want to play every single horror game. Do you ever just want to play every single horror game ever? And like rank all of them? Because I kind of want to do that. I just don't have the time between cosplaying to do every single horror game ever. Oh dear. Although, starting next month, we will be doing 2 streams a day, one on Twitch, one on YouTube. So maybe that's what I can do. I can just get my horror fix on YouTube after a long crafting stream on Twitch. Oh dear. Same. I just want to play every horror game. I just want to play all of them. Every single horror game. Let me play it. I mean, I do also have like a soft spot, to be honest, like talking of Corpse Party, for like RPG style games, like Ib back in the day, like Witch's House, all of those older Mad Father. I mean, I wouldn't mind playing those on stream now, to be honest. It's just like all of those older RPG Maker style horror games. I'm sure there are probably even some newer ones as well that I don't know of yet. Like, they're different kind of horror, but they can work well. I remember, I think in particular, I really liked The Witch's House. That was good. I don't want to spoil the story again for anyone who hasn't played it, but I liked that one. That was a cool story, and I liked it a lot. Ib was a bit more... Oh, and Yumi Nikki? Yeah, Ib was a bit more experimental, as was Yumi Nikki. But, yeah, they're interesting. They're interesting games. I do like them. A bit different, innit? Oh, dear. I think they're a different kind of horror as well. Yeah, it's just a different genre. It's good though. It's good. Some of them better than others, as with all of them, but it is good. Scott, good morning. Thank you for the egg smash. Oh dear. We're talking about, yeah, I've just been spending most of the stream gushing about different horror games. I mean, then of course you have post Five Nights at Freddy's, where there's a lot more jump scare kind of style horror games where you're sat still, because whether you like or dislike Five Nights at Freddy's, you cannot deny that it spawned a lot of, like, a complete new direction for horror after it, of the sitting in one place and like management until you get jump scared. It didn't really exist, at least not in that kind of prominence, before Five Nights at Freddy's. So it really did create a new kind of gameplay, even if you don't like it yourself. I will say, I am not as keen on just jump scares. I think it can be done well. I'm hoping it's done well. So in a couple, like I said, probably next month, we're going to be playing the Mortuary Assistant live on stream. I'm just going to wait to see if it goes into the summer sale first. But we will be probably playing that next month, which is meant to be a game that has jump scares, but it's a bit different. And I think a lot of people have said that it's kind of like jumping horror that works well. So I'm looking forward to trying that one. I'm hopeful that it will be good. But yeah, I think when it's the same jump scare over and over again, you will eventually just become immune to it. Like, it won't bother you anymore, and it'll become more of an annoyance than it will, like, an actual scare. Yeah. So, it depends. Personally, I think I really like when there's a good lore to a game. I'm a fiend for some positive lore, but yeah, it's what sticks with you, I think, after a game like that. I think Five Nights at Freddy's has the benefit of having a very strong fan base with a lot of really good and interesting lore in it, so it can become, even outside of the games, a lot more interesting. Not all of the clones had that same benefit, which meant that some of them were better than others. Good lore can sell me a game. Same. Good lore or themes, yeah. And I think Five Nights at Freddy's got quite lucky with that, in that it did have such a strong fan base who were always wanting more lore, that they could really dive into the lore of the game and flesh it out later, and a lot of people have really enjoyed that. There's another one that's I haven't really seen as much about recently, but I know people were quite into it. I think it was called Poppy Playtime. It's not a FNAF clone, but I do see a lot of similarities between, like, the animatronic kind of designs and all that. It's another animatronic style games with, like, toys that gain sentience, isn't it? I see a lot of similarities, but I think it is a different standalone game. Ah, dear. I'm curious about it, but I'm not completely sold on that one yet. I think a lot of it relies on chase scenes, which, again, I feel in the same kind of way as if you rely too heavily on one kind of scare, like jump scares or chase scenes, you kind of get a bit immune to it after you've died a couple of times. Like, the first few times, I'm sure you'll really jump, but after the first couple times, I don't know. I think you need a bit of variety. Yes. Personally. But then again, I haven't heard any really bad things about it either, so maybe it's not that bad. Maybe it's better than I'm giving it credit for, because I haven't actually played it, so I don't know. I don't think of any other ones. There was one that was doing the rounds on Twitter, which I think is an indie game, Amanda the Adventurer. I, once again, have not played the game. I don't know if I plan to play it yet, so I'm going to try and avoid spoilers. But I know a lot of people were saying that that was a cool take on a horror game. But then I've also seen a lot of people dislike. I don't know. That one seems to be a little diversive. Like, you either love it or you hate it. I'm not against a diversive game, though. I don't mind that. I kind of like it when not everyone loves the game. You know? When it comes to horror, because I think if you're hitting certain triggers, then not everyone should like the game. Because, like, you know, everyone's scared of different things. What do I dislike about post-FNAF is that every new horror is insert an animal object possessed by vengeful soul of time. Yeah, there's been a lot of people have fed off that and just taken it and rolled with it. And I do think it's a really cool concept, and I think it works probably really well for the FNAF series. But with horror, you see the same thing so many times and it's just not interesting anymore. It's why I find the AAA horror scene at the moment a little bit dry, because it's a lot of the same kind of thing. I mean, Resident Evil kind of fell into that trap, I think, with a lot of the same sort of thing over and over and over again, which is why I think a lot of the earlier games are more beloved than, like, maybe 5 and 6 and stuff. Although also I will say that I do think those was just weaker games. But yeah, I don't know. I think it can get a bit samey. But I've seen it before. But yeah. I mean, again, that's just me. If you enjoy any of those games, you're good for you. I'm glad that you like them. You know what? If you enjoy those games, good. I'm glad. Have fun with them. Oh dear. Oh dear. Baby Anna, welcome on in. I hope you're doing well. We're talking about horror games. I've been talking about horror games for like 3 hours now. I'm really enjoying this chat though. The entire AAA scene is just copy pasting. It's a lot of infested village, infested with zombies, infested with something, infested with the other. I think there are some that really do stand out as cool and individual, but a lot of it is very samey. But again, Silent Hill was always quite different in that franchise, and they are making something new. So I am really curious about Silent Hill F and like the direction it's going to go. And I have my theories. I know other people have their theories as well. That one, I'm really enjoying the theorizing of the trailers and stuff like that, and people having ideas. I mean, we know it's based in Japan, so it's not based in Silent Hill, but at the same time, with Silent Hill being a very psychological thing, could Silent Hill be anywhere? Maybe you can get to Silent Hill from anywhere. It's like, maybe. Also with the cult stuff, I guess, that I only more vaguely know about. but that could technically be anywhere. It's interesting. It's interesting, and I'm very, very curious about that one. I think it's gonna be cool. I really hope that it's cool. Not just horror games though, like all games coming out are just, I did kind of get that vibe from some of the, so there's been like a lot of game showcases recently, like we've had Xbox, Sony, all that kind of stuff, doing all the game showcases. A lot of it is very similar. You do see a lot of like, first person magic, first person shooting, first person let's get through this world kind of thing. I don't mind that. I don't mind it. But you know, I would only buy one of those games probably because they all look so similar. Fable I am excited about. I know it's hit and miss with people how the trailers are going, but I always really enjoyed Fable back in the day. Fable is not a horror game, but although I will say the hobs in the second game were pretty spooky. But yeah, but no, I am just excited for Fable. I loved the Fable series, so I'm excited for a new installment. And then I'm trying to think of what else really stood out. There was another game that actually I was kind of interested in, but it was a relatively short trailer and didn't show any gameplay of it, and I can't remember. It was the second one in the showcase. It might have been the Xbox one. The Hobbs is Dark Law, it is. And in the second game, spoilers for Fable 2, I guess. The second game, you have the scene where you have the dad looking for his child, and you know the child's been carried away by Hobbs, and you meet the child that has been turned into a Hob, and it's like, and then the child kills their father in front of you, basically. You hear them screaming, and then you get there and he's dead, and the child is there, but turned into a Hob. It's a very creepy mission. It's very, it is just insanely creepy, that one particular mission. The Hobbs in the lore in general is very creepy, but the one where you're really up close and personal with it in Fable 2, I think that's after you dive off the bridge. Yeah, it's that's a really creepy story. Oh dear. Even as like a little side quest, the fact that I can still remember it this vividly, like, it's obviously stuck with me. I kind of love those sort of elements of like kind of horror in a regular game though. Oh dear. Yeah, the Hobbs is spooks, but in a good way. Oh dear. Yeah. I mean, so I can't remember the game I'm thinking of. Until Dawn. I love the lore in Until Dawn. It made me want to play The Quarry, but I'm mildly glad that I haven't played The Quarry, because from the sounds of it, it's not quite the same level of horror as Until Dawn. It's a bit more like campy fun time. I'm okay with campy fun time horror, but I probably wouldn't spend full price on it, if that makes sense. But I remember, yeah, the Until Dawn, I think it's Until Dawn. Is that the one I'm thinking of? I think so. Until Dawn. Yeah, Until Dawn. The lore in that one's good. If you're looking for like a creepy dive into some what would you call it? Folklore style stuff. I don't want to spoil it if you haven't played it, but if you're looking for a creepy deep dive into some folklore, Until Dawn's pretty good. You do have to get past the expressions and like the capture and all that kind of stuff, because I will say it is a little goofy from my memory at times, and like some of the things are just a little bit goofy in it, but the actual lore in there, the actual folklore stuff is terrifying, and the way that they display it is also really, really, really scary. It makes it really scary. Yeah, that was a cool one for its lore. Yeah, at some point I'll play The Quarry. I don't know when. I don't know when I'll play that one. It's not really top of my list, to be honest. I feel like Quarry would be like a fun one to play with a couple of other people in the call so that we can all make the stupid decisions together, because I don't think I would take it that seriously. I think that'd be a fun one to get together with a couple of mates and be like, do you want to all just like, I'll buy The Quarry and we'll all play it together? Like that sort of thing. We'll all make the decisions together. See how many of these people we can get killed. Oh, there goes my stomach again. Oh dear, to be fair, it is getting about to where I was going to do today. I'd like to kind of get this row finished, but we're getting there, we're doing the good. We've done the good. Oh dear, trying to think what other games that we haven't talked about already had really interesting lore. I do think folklore and mythology can be really good in video games, or it can be really, really bad and kind of offensive. It depends on the game. Oh dear. Because there were no surviving run. Yeah, let's see how many kids we can kill. Oh dear. I don't really like those sort of games. The games where you make decisions, like Telltale style. Yeah, that's fair, that's fair. It's not for everyone, and it can very much slow down the pacing of the game where you're having to... I know they do quick time events, but when you're having to like make a lot of decisions, obviously because you can take as long as you want a lot of the time discussing those decisions, it definitely slows the game down. I don't know, it's a different way of presenting a horror, I guess, and it's not going to be for everyone. And like I said, I think Until Dawn, I think it's actually pretty weak until about halfway through. It's only, actually no, even like longer than that. It's only really after the reveal, which again, I'm trying not to spoil, that I really became more invested in the series. Until then, I wasn't really as invested, but then after the reveal, I was like, okay, yeah, this is interesting. This is an interesting take, and I'm curious. The third act, yeah, probably. The third act where you learn more about the fate of the people in the prologue. There you go. I think I can say that without spoiling anything. Yes, that bit. That bit's a lot more interesting for me. Oh dear. And again, I think it's because it dives into folklore. We were actually talking about, we were talking about with Shiny the other day, uncanny horror. I just really like horror. Uncanny horror, things that make you feel uncomfortable but don't necessarily scare you in horror, or in shows that aren't horror, but that one scene that makes you feel very, like it sticks with you. What was the film that I don't remember, it was just called... I'm gonna check. The Brothers Grimm film. So it's the Brothers Grimm film specifically. There is a scene in this film, I believe it's called Mud Boy is the scene. And that scene has stuck with me since 2005, whenever I watched it, you know? There's a scene with a boy in it, and I again, don't know that I necessarily want to spoil it, but it's with a child. And it's not, I mean, it's not really a horror film. It's like a take on the Brothers Grimm, right? And like, well, the Brothers Grimm, a lot of the stories in the Brothers Grimm are kind of more horrific or like more intense. I wouldn't say that it's specifically a horror film. What is the PEGI rating on this one? Out of curiosity. And how can I find that out? What is the rating? I just want to know the rating of the film. Can you tell me the rating? It will be on IMDb. How do I find out? Oh, PG-13. It's a PG-13. There you go. So it's not a kid's film, but I wouldn't say like it's a really adult film either. But it's that one scene with the mud boy where it sticks with me. Even now, I can imagine what it looks like. And it was like that kind of uncanny horror where like it just doesn't look right, and it stick with me. It stick with me. I still think of that scene sometimes. Where it's like, ugh. I think another good example, which was one Shiny brought up, the pink elephants on parade in Dumbo. Dumbo's not a horror film by any standards, although obviously some of the stuff said and references are pretty horrific. But Dumbo's not a horror film. But the pink elephants on parade, I think, scared a lot of people. Right? Oh dear. It's like those kind of scenes in films where they are not horror films, but they almost feels like they don't belong. Yeah. Pink elephants, I think, is a big one. The Mud Boy for me, that's one. I thought it was a series of Nexus. What's the series called? I'm trying to think of other ones which have like that kind of uncomfortable horror in it, where it's like, it's not a horror show, but this bit in particular makes me feel spooked. Although for me, for Dumbo, it wasn't pink elephants on parade. It was the bit where they're like the clowns and the building's on fire. Like that scared the heck out of me. And they're trying to get Dumbo to jump off the top. I hate that. And the face he makes afterwards and all that bit made me very uncomfortable. Yeah, I didn't like that at all. That still makes me uncomfortable to this day. I don't like it. It's uncomfortable horror. Oh dear. You know, that doesn't take place yet. Their legs are like jelly. They'll be doing one leg squats. Oh god. Squat life. But think about how strong your legs will be. Like, you'll be able to crush watermelons. Hell yeah. Teen Wolf, and it's not the supernatural, but there's one scene, it was pretty scary. I actually think I know what you're talking about. I haven't seen Teen Wolf, but I think I've seen the clip during the rotation on Twitter every now and again. Is it kind of like visually quite scary, like what's happening? Because I think I know what you're talking about, if it's what I'm thinking it is. I'm gonna tap my back and core strength apparently. Hell yeah. It's a little kid in the, oh, it's not that one. Okay, I'm thinking of something else. That is kind of spooky though. That do be kind of spooky though. Oh, the dog. Oh, the dog. Oh dear. Yeah, things disappearing. Oh yeah. That stuff kind of does make me spooked actually. Like, yeah, like something familiar disappearing. Oh, okay. Something I do want to watch. I haven't seen it yet. I'm not actually sure how I can see it. Let me just Google it before I announce what it is. It's an indie-ish film. I don't want to look at the images of it. Oh, yeah, there it is. Skinamarink. Skinamarink came out last year. How can I watch it? Is it on app? It's on Prime. Okay, so I could maybe watch it on Prime. Anyone here familiar with Skinamarink? It is a experimental horror. Once again, it does involve children. If violence against children, you struggle with that, don't watch Skinamarink. Skinamarink is you'll either love it or you'll hate it, and I really want to give it a go because I'm not normally that interested in horror films, to be quite honest. I very rarely find them to like even touch on the horror that you can get in a horror game that's good. But Skinamarink in particular, I am interested in. I'll pop that I'm interested. I don't know how much of the premise that I want to read to you guys, because I don't want to spoil it for myself either. Although I don't know if you can spoil a movie like this. From what I've heard, it's not one. It's like you have to watch because it's experimental. It's not like, even if you know the whole plot, that's not what it's about. It's about visually what you're seeing. So unless you saw, I guess, a lot of the clips of it, you probably wouldn't be spoiled by hearing the synopsis. But yes, it is a supernatural style experimental horror. I don't know. I think it's indie pretty much. I thought it was done by a YouTuber, but I could be wrong. The gas mask, that scared the heck out of me. I still hate that scene when the doctor, not the Doctor Who, but the doctor in the hospital turns. Oh my god. That scene, I hate it. I hate it so much, it's horrible. Yeah, visually scary, and it's one of the last seasons. I see. Ooh. Hell yeah. Yeah, the one in Doctor Who scared the heck out of me. Ugh. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Oh dear. Yeah, so I'm just like, now I'm just talking about stuff that I like. Skinamarink is interesting. There's a lot of, what is the point of Skinamarink? Is Skinamarink worth watching? It's very, yeah, it had no budget. It's very much an indie production and it's very experimental. But if you're interested in experiencing horror in a different way, Skinamarink is something that you may like or may hate because it's experimental. The only trigger warning I'd give is specifically violence against children, because it is a theme of the horror involves the perspective of a child. So you are at the kid's perspective, and that's not, so some people that elevates horror, but for some people that's a big turn off. So yeah, if you don't like the idea of that, it probably isn't for you. Its audience rating is either 5-star or 1-star. Like literally, you either love it or you hate it. There is no in between. It's 5-star or 1-star. Oh dear. It's interesting. It's interesting. Oh dear, heck, the Weeping Angels. I was spooked of the Weeping Angels, but I think it's the gas mask transformation scene. You really hit the nail on the head for me with Doctor Who spooks. That's the one that got me the most. The whole story makes it even spookier. I love it when the lore adds to it. When lore adds to horror, that's, yeah. Like, the visual and the lore together that makes you, the dread that can build is so good. The only show that creeped me out was Trapped and Gruesome Tales, Grizzly Tales for Gruesome Kids. Yeah. Trapped was like, yeah, it's quite a funny show. It's like, yeah, you have one person who's working against you as the saboteur. I don't think I ever really watched Grizzly Tales, to be honest. I know of it, and I liked the art style, but like I never really saw that one. But Trapped I saw. I saw more Trapped. Ah, dear. Ah, dear. Love them as you got older, yeah. I'm sure a lot of kids' shows are like that. A bit spooky when you first see it, but then you're like, actually, I really like it. Ah, dear. Yeah, there you go. Actually, the synopsis of it's really short. I could read the synopsis of Skinamarink. Two children wake up in the middle of the night to find their father is missing and the windows and the doors in their home have vanished. That's it. That's the synopsis. That's it. That's the whole film. Their father is missing and there are no doors or windows in their house anymore. And that's it. And it's the perspective of those two children. It is, again, not going to be for everyone. I haven't seen it myself, so I don't even know if it's a horror that I would like. But I have been recommended it as someone who enjoys horror games, as it's like an experience that's a little different to most horror films. I will say as well, as far as horror films go, I do tend to prefer, or like I do find it more scary when people are trapped in one place. You might have heard of Skinamarink, like you might have heard about it in passing, because when it was coming out, it was very talked about, because again, you either love it or you hate it, and there's really no in between. So people trash on it, and people always also big it up as the best thing ever, and you don't really get many people going the middle ground with it. So in many ways, I wouldn't be surprised if you had heard about it, because yeah, it's a very hit and miss kind of show or film. Oh dear. Wow. Yeah, that's the whole synopsis. The budget was $15,000, by the way. 15000. They made this entire film on $15,000, like less than a deposit on a house these days. They made the entire film, all actors, all budget, all in there. It's very impressive. Honestly, even if you don't like the film, you do have to be impressed by the fact that they managed to make it on such a cheap budget. Oh dear, I think I saw a YouTube video about it or something similar to it. Maybe. You might have watched it. Ooh. So I actually really can't give you much more. It gets a solid 5 out of 10 because people are either 10 out of 10 or 1 out of 10ing it. It's like 50% all the way because, again, people either love it or hate it, and there's no in between. So it just ends up middle of the road for everything, which is hilarious. Yeah, it came out the 25th of July last year, so it's come out less than a year ago, so it is relatively new. It cost $15,000 to make, but it made over $2 million at box office, so it made its money back. And yeah, it's just a bit different. It's a bit different, but again, you might hate it, you might love it. But I guess if you're only watching the one film, you're not wasting too much of your time on it. The only thing that I'm saying that might be a difficulty is like actually where to watch it. It seems like unless you have an Apple television, the only way I can see to watch it is through Prime subscription. And if you're not currently subscribed to Prime, you wouldn't be able to watch it. So it seems like a little difficult to watch. I'm kind of surprised it's not on YouTube. Well, actually, no, maybe eventually it'll be on YouTube, but it is a film at the end of the day. Oh, dear. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. And I will watch it at some point. It's one of the only films currently on my list of things that I actually want to watch. I don't like watching films very much, to be honest. But the kind of recommendation I got for that one made me interested enough that I was like, yeah, I would probably give this a go. Probably put it in the background while I was reading, maybe. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Yeah, it's interesting. I can't speak too much of it because, first of all, I haven't seen it myself yet, and also, although I don't think it's very easy to spoil it, I also don't want to be the one responsible for accidentally spoiling it, so I'm trying to be careful. I do that with a lot with television shows, honestly. I do that with a lot with streams. I don't do it so much with television, but then I don't have as many subscriptions and stuff to television stuff, so... Which makes sense because I don't really watch television. Alright, I am going to end stream there because we just finished another row, and I do want to be getting myself some snacks, and as much as I am enjoying talking about horror games, it is getting progressively hotter in this room again. So yes, we've gone for nearly 4 hours. I think that's okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be raiding you into another sweet bean, but let's see who is live right now. Ooh, okay, we got, wait, what are you doing? Sorry, there's a person here that they have a very aesthetic bead box. Do you guys want to see a very aesthetic bead box? I think you're gonna love it. I think you're gonna love it. Look at this hecking bead box. All right. It's so pretty. I will get you some raid calls really quickly just because it's a great way of sending some love to another channel. There we go. But yeah, they got this really beautiful aesthetic bead box, and I love a good bead box. I mean, always getting paid for by your Nan's Prime and Netflix. Oh, so you just get like that's nice. That's nice, honestly. If you just quickly get access to everything, hell yeah. Grab a raid call if you fancy. Also, stick around if you want to see an aesthetic bead box and some jewelry making. It's very pretty. It's got all the rainbow colors in it. We love that. And then it's like pink flowers around the edge. Like, mwah. A good aesthetic. Very beautiful. Otherwise, I am going to take tomorrow off. I'm not streaming tomorrow. The reason is I'll be streaming then Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So taking tomorrow off because I don't want to stream accidentally 7 days in a row. So tomorrow is my break, and then I'll be back on Thursday, and I will either be doing VTuber or more crafty stuff because I do have some VTuber stuff that I'd like to show you as well. Unfortunately, we're not going to be playing all the games that I want to talk about. The only thing is, do I want to take tomorrow off or do I want to take Thursday off? Because it is kind of a car boot sale on Thursday that I kind of want to go to. We'll see. Regardless, I will see you again soon. Tomorrow or Thursday probably will be the next stream. Take care, everyone. I'm going to send you all over now. There we go. What?